letzte nicht.
Good morning, everybody. Greetings and welcome to this Peers mini marathon. Very excited to see you all here. Can I get a wave from all the participants this morning or this evening, wherever you are? I know we have some people competing from the 24-hour marathon in France. We have some folks staying up in the very late in the US. So happy to have you all join us. And yes, where are my co-hosts? I better find them. This is
We're hiding. We're being very
yeah,
sneaky.
our largest peers competition so far. So that's why my screen was filled up with colorful puzzles. But yes, good morning, Jim. And good morning, Catherine.
Hello.
Yes, very, very early in the morning for you, Jim.
Oh, just a little bit. I think that if you're up before 4 in the morning to do some puzzles, you're in pretty good shape.
Well, we do have some people who are, yeah, quite passionate, obsessed. Some might say a little bit crazy to be puzzling in the middle of the night or during a marathon. But that's the kind of crazy we like. Yeah, so we had a topic today, which is pairs puzzling. What can we learn from our pairs partner? How do we adapt to them? How do we change our puzzling compared to when we puzzle solo? Yeah, Catherine, would you like to go first? What have your insights been about this?
Yeah. So first of all, I love pairs puzzling, just because it gives you like, if you're a little bit in a slump, you have another person that can motivate you. So you're never actually stopping puzzling because there's always one person that will um, puzzle, and if one person is a little bit slower, then the other person can motivate them, and vice versa. So that's mainly the main reason why I love pairs puzzle. It's because it just keeps going, and you can really get through it together, and it makes puzzling more fun and easier, and also you're done faster, which is great. um, and I was really interested actually in Jim's experience puzzling with a super fast puzzler at the US Nationals with Andrea. How was that for you, Jim?
It was really really fun. Andrea is a fantastic human being, and I think the world of her. Um, and it's one thing to see her style of puzzling from a distance, and it's very different to be like up close and personal and like in the sphere of it as it's happening. And it's even more impressive whenever you're at the table as it's going. And one of the things that I thought was really really cool was, um, I'm very used to getting in each other's space quite a bit while puzzling, and it is, this theoretically, but it's also very effective to give room to each other and to set each other up like a conveyor belt. And Andrea is just so phenomenal at her dead reckoning, and also all the new skills she's been developing. It's really impressive. She was able to hard carry me into the finals. Um, and I will say that the other thing that's really cool is that it's important to be playful with your pair's partner, but also not too playful. Some of you may know that during the prelim, I was intentionally messing with Andrea a little bit and taking pieces apart and then handing them back to her. And she then made me promise not to do that during the final. So definitely didn't do that. And she's just amazing. I had a total blast and can't thank her enough for carrying me in.
Yeah, well, I don't actually have much experience at pairs puzzling, to be honest. I have my daughters, so actually all the puzzles that we've done today, that we will be doing today as pairs, I've only done them solo. At the Worlds, I always puzzled with someone who I only saw at the Worlds, so we never had time to practice or to develop much of a style. And then at local events in Germany, I've always had different pairs partners, so I haven't really, yeah, I don't have a fixed partner as such. But what I have learned puzzling with my daughters, I've puzzled mostly with Zoe. Um, and Aria, and I feel that I tend to be the sorter. I mean, I would prefer that they sort for me, but they hate flipping and they hate sorting, and so then that becomes my role. But I just want them to have a good time because I want them to puzzle with me, and so I I end up doing what I don't actually like doing, uh, in order that they have an easier time. So that's something how I adapt to them. But maybe I'll find a pairs partner one day who will sort for me. We'll see. All right, I think we are almost ready to start. Let's check in with everybody. Oh yeah, and if you didn't know, this is a bonanza weekend of speed puzzling for everyone around the world. We have Norwegian, Slovenian, Dutch championships. We have the 24-hour marathon in France, and we also have all you guys who are going to be doing 4 500-piece puzzles back to back, which is amazing. So we have 92 pairs registered in the timer website, and we have more than 100 people in the meeting. If you have not yet registered on the timer website, please take a minute to do that now. We do need you in there. So I'm just going to confirm the rules. You have 4 500-piece puzzles. in a moment, you will unwrap all of them, and one of them will be designated to be the final puzzle. So that means everybody has to do that puzzle last, and that helps us to keep track of who is actually about to like properly finish the marathon. Because the other three, you can choose the order, and that means yeah, your feet, if you want to start with an easier one first or start with the most difficult, however you and your partner work together, you can choose that. But we don't want to miss the final finishes, and that way it's easiest everybody does the same puzzle last. Yes, the time limit is 4 hours, and I can't think what else to say, so let's unwrap some puzzles. So please unwrap all 4 of your puzzles.
It's happening.
Yeah, so everybody has 3 packages. The yellow package with the elephants has 2 puzzles in there from the same brand, which you can probably recognize will be Cherry Puzzy. I will do close-ups of the puzzles very shortly for the viewers so that everybody can see those.
Oh, this is gonna be a fun day for a lot of puzzlers.
Yes, very exciting. I'm always, for me, this is always next to the first finishes. This is always the most exciting part, is the reveal of the puzzles. And you can already see people strategizing and pointing at things and thinking which puzzles they're going to do first. So yeah, this is very, very exciting.
Yeah, so make sure to remove the plastic wrap, and the Nathan puzzle has stickers on it, so you want to make sure that all the stickers are cut on that one. The puzzle that we will do last is the cat puzzle. So it's Cherry Pazzy. It's called Anything for Love and has 2 cats on it, a black and white cat. So you can take that one and just put that off to the side. That is going to be your final puzzle. And then you can pick amongst those 3 puzzles which one you want to start with.
Now, if you're watching from home, if you're in the chat, please let us know what you think about the puzzles, what's going on. This is going to be this is a mini marathon, so help us keep the energy rolling the whole time here. We have Asker Rosabel. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. Saying good luck and have fun to the whole crew. SJ is saying cat puzzle with little cat heart eyeballs. Ali Posley, Ali Polly is saying good morning. This is going to be really exciting.
Yeah, so a couple of people missed the what I said about the final puzzle. If you look at your screen, I've pinned it to everybody's screen. This cat puzzle here, this is your final puzzle. So do this one last, put this aside. That will be your final puzzle. But you may choose any other puzzle to start with. Okay. So it looks like, oh, and we see some cats on the table. Okay. It looks like we will be ready to start. Yes, and one of these is an unreleased puzzle, which we will announce very shortly and give you more details about that. And you can look forward to an interview with the artist. Okay, let's do a countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck.
Puzzle!
Good luck, everybody.
Good luck,
And they're on.
everyone.
Good
So
luck. May the
I
force be with you.
I actually forgot to send these puzzles to Catherine. So I thought she was going to do the introductions, but she doesn't actually have them in front of you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them on the screen for our viewers, and then I'll tell you about them. The first one is San Francisco Natives from the Speed Puzzle brand. This is by the artist Ricardo Kriebel, and is a biodiversity poster. So he has taken photos of each of those. I don't know if he took them all in one go, or if he took a photo of each individual plant and then placed them neatly on to make a poster out of it, but these are all native plants to the San Francisco region. Ricardo is not a speed puzzler, but one of his friends is a very high profile speed puzzler and saw this poster and thought that this would make a great puzzle. And that's how we got in touch. And yeah, you can learn more about Ricardo during the interview, but I'll just read out his bio. Ricardo Kriebel is a Costa Rican biologist and assistant curator of botany at the California Academy of Sciences in San Francisco, where he works on the taxonomy and evolution of princess flowers, family Melastomataceae, and sages, family Lamiaceae. To share the beauty of nature, he enjoys photographing plants and making biodiversity posters with the images. This is the first time one of his posters has been turned into a puzzle.
Yeah,
That is
I
so
think it's a
exciting and beautiful.
lovely puzzle. I love all the different flowers and all the different colors, but it also looks hard.
Yes, it is a very detailed image. It's very busy. So yeah, not so easy to divide amongst a pair. But yeah, but we've already had about 80 pairs or more who've done it as flex, and they will have their own podium because they've done just that one puzzle, as opposed to everybody here who will be doing all 4 puzzles. We also have from Nathan or Nathan from France, so a nice scene uh, at the coast. It's called Vers la Fara de Clemanche Bretagne. uh, House by the Sea. Uh, yes, so a very nice landscape photo there, quite cloudy in the background, and a big section of grass. Then we have from Cherry Pazzy, Say Cheese. So a collection of monsters doing a selfie. Got quite a nice gradient sky, and yeah, this one is really fun. And this one is a lot more dividable, I'd say, and is also very fun and quick as a solo puzzle. And finally, we have our final puzzle, which is, it's called Anything for Love from Cherry Pazzy, and has 2 cats in the forest surrounded by plants and little flowers. There's a couple of ladybugs and some butterflies. So quite different styles of images, and hopefully a lot of fun for our pairs today.
Yeah, and
I
I love the diversity among the puzzles. Every puzzle is different from the other, and that's, I think, a really nice thing to do for marathons, because then you're not going to get tired of the same style. If you have like 2 or 3 puzzles from the same style, you can get like style fatigue. Um, so yeah, this is great. I'm curious to see in which order people are going to do, or which puzzle people are going to start with. So shall we have a look at our first contestants here? So we have Aaron and Heather from the United Kingdom, but if I'm informed correctly, they are also puzzling from the 24-hour marathon in France. Then we have Chiara and Kati, who are also puzzling from the 24-hour marathon in France. Then we have Aiden and Sabrina from Switzerland. I'm thinking that's Alexandra and Tomi from Switzerland, then Alexandra and Berit from Germany, and Anna Karin Falkenstrand, who, 1 second, is from, oh, we have a bunch of different Annas. Okay. There. Anna Karin and Teresa from Sweden.
we might want to ask Anna Corinne and Teresa to tilt their camera a little towards their puzzling area. We love seeing you. We also love seeing the puzzles. Yeah, there we go. Just so we get a better idea of what's going on there. Everybody is off to a really good kick here. A lot of the pairs, they get that initial flip done well under the 3-minute line. You can see that Alexandria and their partner in the lower left, I believe they are attacking that landscape puzzle, and you can see that a lot of that orange is already coming into play. That background sky, looking really strong there. Upper left, Aaron and Heather, they are flying on their fingertips. I can't imagine how they're feeling starting out puzzling after 24 hours already and now continuing on. I think Aaron and Heather and both Kiara and Kati are gluttons for punishment. It looks like Kiara and Kati decided to go uh, for that new plants, native plants puzzle, and that's going to be it's going to be really interesting to see how they get on with a black table with a lot of that black background, but they are so skilled at working through that color depiction that it's going to be really interesting to see how they get on.
Yeah, I think maybe they are thinking, let's get the harder puzzle out of the way first. That was also their strategy at the German championship a couple of weeks ago, where they tackled the like what I thought was the harder puzzle first. And I think this will pay off because then you have the hard puzzle done and then you can do like an easy puzzle afterwards, kind of as a reward. And it'll give you like a second wind to do like a fun puzzle after like a hard puzzle. At least that's how I always see it. I really love that landscape puzzle from Nathan, I would assume. This is how you pronounce it in French. Um, one of the reasons is because I always vacation in the summer in the Bretagne in France. So this landscape is really familiar to me, and you cannot take a bad photo of Brittany, especially if you have the ocean somewhere in it or some of the rocks in the photo as well. So I've been wanting to see a puzzle made from the Bretagne, and yeah, of course, the French version of Ravensburger is delivering on that.
Oh wow, yeah. This is gonna be really really cool to see, and I know we just had another round of name shakeups here.
Yeah, I am trying to make my screen slightly bigger so I can read the names because, I'm usually reading the names just from the list that we have. But because these are pairs, sometimes the list is not the same as the names that appear on the screen. So it's a little bit more finicky to figure out who is who. All right. Um, we have Annika and Sophie from the Netherlands. Then we have another Annika together with Barbara from Germany. Then we have Barbara and Lena from Austria. Then we have Barbara and Tomas from Hungary. Then there's also Beth and Gemma from the United Kingdom. And then Bibi and Anna from Denmark.
Yeah, you can see that the Annika's pair, they're doing a little bit of a sort on that lovely landscape puzzle. It's really cool that they have two different sorting trays, one with a black background and one with a white background. Um, Often you'll see one background pretty consistently for different sorting trays, but more and more teams are using these alternate colors for the different puzzle pieces that they might be running into. It's kind of cool that they're also using a pretty big board in order to build that Nathan puzzle. And like you were saying, Catherine, this is the Raven sort of a Ravensburger um, offshoot that has the very same cut as Rav. So it's really fun to see. It looks like Barbara's pair is going for the say cheese, that monster puzzle. And
Mm-hmm.
rather than doing the border first, they've gone for this island building of larger chunks of those monsters and sort of working their way inside out after getting those islands. Really, really cool and difficult to do as a pair quickly. So they are joined in the brain and in this telepathic link. We can't always hear them, but it's exciting to see. Uh, Beth and Gemma are going for the new plants, native plants puzzle, and I think they started a little bit on the border, and now they've shifted to doing some island builds of those plants inside. I think that's going to be a little busy on the inner parts, but they are working really well together.
Yeah, I think this the monster puzzle is gonna be probably the fastest puzzle from the ones that we have here in this mini marathon, because it is so easily divisible and everyone can just work on one color monster and then put it all together later, and it's really bright. Um, and has really great contrasts.
Mm.
Okay, so also with us we have Birgit from Germany together with Nadia from Indonesia. We have also Carmel and Teilchenbeschleuniger from both from Germany. Then we have Caro and Dietmar from Switzerland. There's also with us Caroline and Cindy from Switzerland. And then Cataline and Denise from the Netherlands.
Yeah, we are about 12 minutes into this 4-hour mini marathon here. Somebody in the chat was asking how much time. They got 4 hours. It's going to be a blast to do all four of these puzzles. Uh, I'm really fascinated by Bridget and Nadia in the upper left-hand corner. They're doing that Nathan landscape puzzle, and
Mm-hmm.
they've both taken the half of the puzzle and faced it toward themselves, and then one of them will flip it around and join it together a little later. It's a really cool tactic whenever you have clear, defined halves that can work pretty well. You can see that the pair of Carmel and Caroline are about even. I think Caroline's pair is slightly ahead right now. They both have full border working, and that green monster in the middle sticks out for a lot of the pairs, and they're going to town. Caroline and uh, Catalan. I'm sorry, sorry, I'm reading reading the name. It kind of blends in with the puzzle piece for me. Um, you can see that the border's coming into play. They both have that blue monster cooking. I always get a kick out of seeing how different colors jump out to different puzzlers, and you can see that that bright blue really attracted their eyes, and they were able to get through that pretty quickly. I think that blue monster might be about 30 pieces or so, so they are cooking. And Per Caro is doing the native plants puzzle as well, um, and they are off to a good start. I like seeing that they've rotated the puzzle to be in a landscape format, even though it is a portrait style puzzle by setup. Um, a lot of puzzlers they struggle with being able to rotate the image in their head as they're puzzling. So
Mm-hmm.
if they have it already sideways in that landscape mode, it's a little easier, and they don't have to make that extra rotation in their brain. But I also know that that stresses a lot of these puzzles. Um, there's an update from Cussa Gaming saying one of these pairs may now be regretting that choice. They may be hinting to Aaron and Heather. We'll see if that uh, plays out for them. We'll do an update check down the line.
Yeah, I
But
mean
everybody's off to a solid start.
they're doing a mini marathon within an actual marathon, so it's kind of a crazy idea to do. But I get it, if you're already in the mood for puzzling, like why not do a second marathon at the same time?
Yeah, does it become less of a mini marathon and more of a mega marathon if you attach a mini to a standard?
we'll we'll have to ask them later how it felt like for them.
Fair enough.
Okay, then also with us we have Kat and Janine one from the United States, one from Germany. Then we also have Chloe and Sky from the United States. Um, why does this not want to work with me anymore? Okay. Um, then there's also Christina and Melanie from Germany, Christina and Chiara from Italy, Dan and Dave from the United Kingdom, and Daniele and Stefan from the Netherlands.
I want to point out that Chloe and Sky in the upper middle there doing that landscape puzzle. They are up at 1 in the morning their time trying to knock this out, which I think is bananas to do a marathon starting at 1 in the morning. Usually you try to like fight through the evening times on those. but they are cooking. You can see that they're working top down on that landscape, and they are well over halfway done. And now they just have that line out of the street walk, of the street driveway going up, and a little bit of that grass. You can see that Catherine's pair, they're cooking on a lot of those monsters, getting them lined up. I love how accurate the sorting is on those groups, so that way they can zipper through the rest of those monsters. Christina's pair, you can see that they're doing this side by side format, so they have a lot of that border going, and one person is making the monsters that they can then pick up and airdrop into the puzzle. I always enjoy seeing that tactic. Dan and Dave are I think they're sunbursting out from the middle. I can't quite see which puzzle they decided. I think it's the native plants puzzle. Um, and
Hmm.
they have the words at the top going because it's that white words on the black background. And Danielle and Stefan are doing a great getting that full border in. They've done a pretty decent sort for those other monsters, so we're at that stage right before they zipper through and make a ton of assembled progress here as we cross the 17-minute line.
Yeah, I think with that plant puzzle, especially the plants in the middle will stand out more because they are the most vibrant, like the yellows, and there's an orange one and some purple ones that are really out there. And then there's a lot of white flowers and like green stuff going on, like more on the borders of the puzzle, like towards the outside of it. So we will see how fast people will be able to finish it. I'm curious to see later how Chiara and Kati are gonna are tackling that one. But before we get there, let's continue with introducing the rest of our puzzlers. So I'm not quite sure who we have in the top left, like Domstr. I don't have anyone like starting with Dom in my list, but they are working on the puzzle, the monster puzzle. Then we have Le Vernick. Okay, so the second one, I'm also not quite sure who they are because I cannot find that last name. Löwer. Oh, sorry, I'm writing it wrong. Rink. Okay, 1 second. Are we getting? Where are you?
As
Uh,
Catherine finds it, you can see that they decided to do that landscape
yes,
puzzle. They
thank
have a
you.
lot of that sky in, and they are flying.
It's Asta and Jeanette from the Netherlands.
Okay.
Then we have Eileen and Rosaline from Belgium. Um, I'm so sorry. This is complicated.
And you can see Eileen's pair. They are maybe about 50 pieces away here. Maybe close to 60 or so from being able to finish out that Nathan landscape puzzle and get that first puzzle down real early here. It might be a sub 22-minute time for them.
Yeah, they are a really great pair from Belgium. I think they got third at the Belgium Nationals a couple of weekends ago. So yeah, they are really, really good, and they practice a lot together as well. In the bottom left, I think we have Elisa and Sabina from Denmark. Then in the bottom middle, we have Els and Beth from Belgium. It looks maybe like they're sisters or mother and daughter. I'm not sure, but they have the same last name. And then we have Emily and Marceline from France.
And we get some waves from Emily and their partner. They're a double wave just in case. They're doing that monsters puzzle, and they're having a monster good time as they are working on it. You can see that that yellow monster has come into play. There's a little bit of edge going, but they're mostly doing this chaos puzzling of pulling pieces out from the central pile rather than having a centralized build field for them. I'm
Mhm.
going to do a quick from the field update. I believe Hannah Doyle and Chris and Caitlin were able to get through the monsters puzzle in about 19 minutes and 30 seconds or so, and they have
Wow,
moved on to their next one. I think they went for the native plants.
nice. Yeah, I thought this monster puzzle would be done really, really fast. So I'm not surprised that some of the faster pairs that have started with that one are done now, but still under 20 minutes is really impressive. Just to a small correction, Eileen and Rosaline, they got Belgium second. So
Oh, that's amazing.
I think overall it was third because there was an international team in there as well. But just Belgian ranking, they got second, just
When
behind.
you can actually see on screen now, we have a little bit of a race off for
Yeah.
the for that Nathan landscape. Eileen, Lenka, and Philippa, and in the lower middle, it's Ria and their partner. Everybody's down to maybe the last 40 pieces or so. I think Ria and their pair are slightly ahead. You can see in the upper right-hand corner, that's Hannah Doyle and her partner Caitlin. Um, they're doing a great job. They've already started their second puzzle. Ria and their partner getting ready to finish off that landscape. Are they going to be able to keep this under the 22 under the 22-minute line? I think they're going to pull it off.
Yeah, that's really impressive because this landscape, I can imagine, is not the easiest, especially this grass section that we have on the left side. You know, grass is
There it
always
is.
hard. Yay!
And they are moving on to the next one. We'll see what they pick here in just a moment. Lenka and Philippa and Eileen, they're both working on that green section of the puzzle. You can see Ria and their partner doing the pickup and into the box transition. Rather than sliding off to the side, there they go. They get the rest of it down, and they've started working on that cherry posy monsters, keeping
Mhm.
the say cheese, keeping that accelerated pace rolling and worrying about those less straightforward puzzles later. They've put that puzzle into that vertical position. So rather than being landscape, they've set it up where each person is viewing it from the direction that they're going to be working on that puzzle. I believe it looks like Eileen and their partner did this very similar thing. So that way, the person that's upside down can look to their left and just see that image in the upside down configuration. Really, really
Mhm.
cool to see that happening.
Yeah, it always depends on the puzzlers how much they like doing that or not. I have puzzled with some people in pairs that don't like to flip the box because they always look at the box in the same orientation, and for them it's really disorientating if it then suddenly the box is in a different position. Personally, I like to place the box the same way that I do the puzzle on the table, just because then I don't have to flip it 90 degrees in my mind when I'm placing the pieces down. But yeah, so it's really just about what you're used to um, and whatnot. All right, joining us as well, we have Amma and Eva from Germany. Then also with us, we have Freya and Tyra from Sweden, who are also both very fast puzzlers. Um, then we have
And Eileen
another
and their partner
Freya.
just finished that landscape and they're moving on to the next one.
Yes, congratulations. Then we have another Freya and Josephine from Denmark. Uh, Next is Gabby and Krista from Austria. And then in the bottom right is Gavin and Anna from the United Kingdom.
It's really fun to see Gavin and Anna in the lower right hand corner. They've done that full border. They're getting the islands of those monsters built in, but they've done this side by side, so that way they both are looking at the image the same direction. They both have access to the pile. They're both trying to do some building. It looks like one partner's doing some building outside and then airdropping in. It looks like Lenka and Philip are coming in on the last 5 pieces or so, or sorry, about the last 10 pieces of that landscape, and then they're going to be out and moving on to their next one. You can see that they're moving left and right very quickly, trying to be super accurate, working around each other. Uh, you can see that they're both right-handed, so they can kind of reach around each other like a yin and yang symbol, getting those last ones in. There's the hit. They can hit the timer. I think it's just over. It's going to be just over the 24:50 line. They take a quick picture. Now let's see the transition. They fly that puzzle off, didn't even bother putting it in a box, which is totally within the rules here. And they open up that native plants puzzle and they get going on
Yeah, so doing that one second, we'll keep an eye on how they're doing. Then now let's properly introduce them. Hannah Doyle and Caitlin from the United States. Then we also have Hannah and Marta from Germany. Then there's Helen and Bryn from the United Kingdom. Then we have Helena and Lauri from Estonia. Then also from Estonia joining us, Helena and Eleri, apparently a very popular name, Helena. And then also joining us are Inga and Katrina from Lithuania.
Alrighty, and you can see that Hannah Doyle's pair in the upper left hand corner. Hannah's a very strong pick and place puzzler, and so it's difficult to use that superpower whenever you don't have a full border. So they may not be familiar with this as familiar with this particular brand as they are with others, and because that's a full black border, it's difficult to piece together really quickly. So you can see that they've taken the process of doing little island chunks, and they are still making crazy progress on that, which is really impressive out of the middle. Helena's pair in the lower left that are working on the monsters puzzle. They have that full border. Those blues and greens are jumping out to them. I see some extra sorting going on, and they're sitting side by side on a long-ended table, and they're doing great. Sometimes you get worried about having access to all of the pieces for both of the pairs, but they are doing such a good job acting as a conveyor belt for each other that they are cruising here as we cross the 28-minute line. You can see Helena in the lower middle. They have that whole outline, that monster sticking up through the middle. So they are almost at that point where they can focus mostly on fill-in together rather than setting up these big set pieces. Hannah in the upper middle, their pair, I believe they're really cooking through that the native plants puzzle, giving them a little bit of trouble early, but they are cruising. And Inga's pair, getting ready to close out the native plants here, which is really impressive considering how scattered some of those colors are.
Yes, Hannah and Caitlin did really well at the US Nationals as a pair as well. Oh, and there we see Mona and her pair just finishing up the monster puzzle. Congratulations.
There it is, just at the 22nd line. They throw it off of the table and they get the next one going.
Yeah, I mean, if you are doing like a competition, normally in an in-person competition, you have to actually get the puzzle like back into the box, or some other way off the table, then you have to pretty much disassemble it because you don't have like unlimited space at competitions. But here, since people are at their home, it's really just about getting it off the table and making space for the next puzzle. Um, all right. Now with us we have Katharina and Simone from Germany. Next we have Jane and Lena from Denmark. Then there's also Jennifer and Kate from the United Kingdom. Next we have Jessica and Kristen from Sweden. Then there's Judith, Judith, yes. Judith and Stefan, one from Germany, the other one from Switzerland, and then Lara and Lisa from Germany, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check. Yes.
See, Laura and Lisa are coming into the very end of that landscape puzzle. I think a lot of the pairs are going to finish in that dark green because it's so much duplication and similarity in that area You could use a lot of gradient in other places, but that's a really tricky zone. You see Jennifer and their pair, they have a lot of those monsters worked out. They might have about 100 pieces or so remaining for them to wrap up the say cheese. For those of you in the chat, we're also going to start reaching that point where a lot of pairs finish one puzzle. Oh, and there's Laura and their pair. You can see that they are doing the transition. They do a quick fold. We know that they got it. They're moving on, or they're moving on to the next one, trying to pick it up and put it into the box. I can't quite see the name on that other side. Um, there they go. They get it in, and they're Laura's pair are going to move on to the native plants. A lot of these pairs are trying to alternate between what feels really difficult versus what is a little more straightforward for them. So it's a tactic to try to keep the excitement and the energy going, which is really important whenever you're doing a mini marathon because you can reach that slog point way earlier. Usually, you start feeling fatigue around the 30-minute line, and that's just puzzle one for a lot of folks.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do a quick update. Kiara and Kati finished out the native plants puzzle in about 30 minutes and about 31 minutes or so, a little plus or
Nice.
minus a little bit, and they're moving on to the landscape.
Yeah, I think that's a really good time for that puzzle because, someone told me that normally the time that you have as a pair, and maybe Jim, you can correct me, I'm not 100% sure,
Mhm.
but that the time that you have as a pair is half of the time that the slower one of you would need in order to finish that puzzle.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
as a rule of thumb. So if and I don't know how true it is because when we see like the faster pairs
Mhm.
puzzling, even if it's a really easy pairs puzzle, you're usually around the 20-minute mark. And even though they are definitely faster than 40 minutes individually. So I'm not sure like how accurate that is, but just kind of as a rule of thumb for people at home that maybe are not so used to doing pairs puzzles, it's kind of a good guideline, especially if you have two puzzlers with differing speedness levels, kind of.
Yeah, whenever you have a really strong pair that matches well and both members can go at about their full speed, you'll see the time cut about in half. There is sort of a lower limit, sort of a plateau line that we're starting to see this asymptotic approachment whenever both puzzlers aren't familiar with the image. Um,
Mhm.
but the idea is always that you are faster together than you are alone. So if you're a little over the that cutoff, you're in pretty good shape. And oftentimes it's not just whichever puzzler is a little bit slower on average. It's just a matter of where the average sits between the two puzzlers, and then about half, and it often depends on what the image is, if it's going to be closer to 60% or 40% on that, and how much it caters to the pair's strengths. You can see that Julia and Jacqueline are
Yeah.
finishing up that monsters puzzle. They put that last piece in. They're gonna get a quick picture of it, I think, scrambling for the
Yeah.
phones. How I'm curious about how this transition is gonna go. They're
Congrats,
trying to decide
Julia.
what's best to do. They are going to pick the whole thing up and just try to stuff it into the box. They don't have to get it all the way in. It just needs to be off the table in the pairs mini marathon. They throw the lid on, and now they're starting on that landscape.
Yeah, that was Jacqueline and Julia from Germany. Then we also have Karen, and where's Karen's pair? Karen and Lynn from Belgium, and some other people on the screen that now I missed. Sorry, guys.
We'll get you in another lap.
Okay, and with us now we have Leah and Sally from the United Kingdom. Then there's Lanka and Philippa from Slovakia and Portugal. Then there is Leonie and Ali from Germany. Um, then also with us we have, is it Lydia? Yes, Lydia and Martina from Italy. Then we have Lena and Alice from Germany. And Louise and Inga from Denmark and Norway. Nice little international teams coming here. I'm assuming some of them are either living abroad or have traveled to their friends and then decided to take part in the mini marathon at the same time. I love it when like coincidences like that just happen and you get to, indulge in this hobby together with your friend that maybe lives somewhere else.
It's always great whenever you get to pair up with somebody that's on your that's on your puzzle bucket list of
Hmm.
people that you admire or talk to online a lot, and then you finally get to be in the same spot and do something really fun together. I want to point out that Lenka and Philip are on their second puzzle. They got their they were able to get the first landscape puzzle down in about 27 minutes, so they are about 9 minutes into the native plants puzzle, and they've made a ton of progress there. I think starting out with those yellow and red plants and sort of working your way inside out is a strong way to go about this. We've seen several of the other pairs attack this puzzle that same way.
Hmm.
They've sorted out the white words and I think some of those edge pieces as well, so they can get to that whenever they if they hit a little bit of a wall. You can see Leah Morgan's pair in the upper left hand corner. They're so close to finishing out the say cheese puzzle. Those monsters, they are at that fill in point in the upper left hand corner, which has some duplication in the sky. Um, some of those monsters are coming together. Similar sort of gaps you can see in the lower left hand corner there for Linda's pair. They are doing a great job. You can see that one of them is working out of their hand. I think there's another pair in that room at the table right next to them. So they have they might start throwing some elbows here unintentionally before too long. Lena and their pair, they have that full border worked out. They're using those sorting trays to their advantage. And Louise and their partner, they are about, I want to say, well over halfway done with that landscape
Hmm.
puzzle. And they are going to be set up to work in on that grass area. And this is where you really want to start cheering your pair's partner on as we come up on the 39-minute line. Because that fatigue sets in, you can start feeling the slog, especially if you're towards the end of a puzzle and there's a lot of snags in there. If you're in the chat, now might be a good time to start asking, what do we think the first place overall finish time is going to be, and what do you think some of the times are going to be for these other puzzles?
Yeah, those are really good questions. I think, yeah, if you have any guesses, let us know in the chat. In the meantime, let's introduce some of the next puzzlers. We have Lydia and Nikki from Germany. Then we have Maya and David from Slovenia. Then we have Maria and Michael from Germany. Then there's also Mineke and Delia from the Netherlands, who is another sister pair. We love to see it. Then there is Mosh Mushka and Anna from Slovenia. And then we just saw another finish here in the bottom right um, that we just tried to catch on camera here.
Great job, Annika.
Well done. And yeah, both Mineke and Delia and also Moshka and Anna are working on this um, flowers puzzle. Oh yeah, and then sorry, we also have on the bottom right that is Miriam together with Karin from Sweden. And they are also working on the flower one. But both Mineke's team and Moshka's team, they are so close to the finishing line in this.
Oh yeah, I think right now Moishka's pair uh, is a little ahead. They have a lot of that center filled out, and they've already sorted out the edges, so it's fill in at around the outside for them at this point. So they are able to kind of do a typewriter action around the outside if they want to or need to in order to get those edges in. And then the fill in is just is a game of shape work, which is going to be really really fun to see how they iron the rest of that out.
Yeah, and on we can contrast this with Miriam's pair who have the border already done, and I can see that a lot of the puzzlers, especially with the flower puzzle, are leaving the border kind of for last. But I think there is a benefit, especially if you're with two people, if one of you dedicates them yourself to actually doing this border, because it'll be easier to fill in later on. uh, Obviously, I can understand how like a purely black border will be really annoying to do, but it gives you this structure that you might need, that'll make it easier for you to fill in things faster. Maya and her team, they are on their second puzzle already. I'm not quite sure which puzzle they did before, but this is what the whispers are in the in the chat here.
I'm willing to bet that they did the say cheese puzzle first.
Yeah, maybe. Well, yeah, I guess, yeah, because they were pretty far already into that second puzzle. All right, then we also have Mona and Anne from Germany, Nadia and Christian from Germany, Natasha and Lisa from Austria, Paulina and Dominika from Poland, Ramona and Raphael from Switzerland, and Raphael and Irma from Switzerland as well. And I'm getting a notice from Michelle to please ask Robert to move the box. Robert, we cannot see your puzzle with your box in the way. Thank you. If you can hear us, that is.
Yeah, just as a heads up. But you can see a lot of these pairs getting ready to close out their next puzzle. Nadia and Paulina's pair, the upper right-hand corner and the lower middle, they're both at a fill-in stage. I think Paulina's pair, they have this, they're almost at the point of no ambiguity. So anything they pick up can go in based purely on the shape. And if they use the image on it, that's even better. It can accelerate that a little bit. I think Nadia's pair, they have a little bit more of a gap in the sky, but that's going to, they can use the gradient, they can use hints of the clouds in there in order to finish this up. We just crossed the 43-minute and about 30-second line. So both of these pairs are cooking really, really strongly. I believe Natasha's pair in the lower left-hand corner, they just finished up another puzzle and got started on the native plants. But this is a bit of a roll-off here between Nadia and Paulina's pair on who is going to get started on this next puzzle. You can see that Paulina's pair, they're going very accurately. They're being discreet with each piece they pick up. They're both right-handed, so they snag a piece, they drop it down into where it's going to go. In the in the upper right-hand corner, you can see Ria's team closing out the monsters just ahead. They hit the buzzer. They're going to take a quick picture of it. What's the transition going to look like? They're going to do the pickup and drop. Everybody noticing how tough, how sturdy those cherry posse puzzles are in terms of the transition. A lot
Yeah,
of players are trying to fold it or crumple it, and it just won't because of how sturdy it is, which is a
yeah, and
beautiful thing to find out.
we're getting hints that this is already their second puzzle that they finished, so they're just starting on their third puzzle already.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so that's Ria and Laura from Finland. Then we also have with us Rika and Diana from Denmark. Then Robert and Lise from Sweden. Thank you. Now we can really see your table really well. And then there's also Romina and Yvonne from Switzerland.
And you can see that Paulina's pair coming in on like the last 5 pieces or so. They're going to be able to close this out
Yeah,
just under the 45-minute line. Congratulations. We'll see the transition here. In the lower right-hand corner, Romina's pair also getting ready to close out the monsters puzzle. You can see that their piece pile is a little scattered. There's some above, there's some to the side, there's some below, but they're doing a great job keeping it controlled right now. Nadia's pair also coming in on the last, I want to say 15 pieces or so, might be a little more, a little less. as they get ready to race off on this monsters puzzle. And it looks like Paulina's pair decided to go for the landscape puzzle for their next round.
Yeah, and you know, just like quickly disassembling or moving the puzzle away or putting it in the box to start the next one is not something that you usually practice when you're practicing speed puzzling alone. But if you are gonna be in a marathon or even a teams competition where you have two puzzles, it does pay off to practice the transition and figure out like a good way to divide tasks between yourselves and who is doing folding, who is getting the box, and all of these things, and maybe talk about it like when you're putting in the last 20 pieces of like, okay, we're almost done. Let's figure out how to get rid of this puzzle once it's done. Um, so yes, joining us as
No,
well
it's
is,
a huge thing to be able to work on those kinds of moments. Even if you don't
yeah,
have the full puzzle done, just talking with your partner about how you want to approach it goes a long, long way. You can see
exactly.
Romina's pair, they just decided to toss that cherry Pomsey onto the floor, get it out of here. They immediately opened up the next bag and they are cooking onto the landscape puzzle along with Nadia and Christian. They're side by side right now, trying to dig in. Oh no, they might need a knife to cut into the tabs. There they go. And now they're going to get going.
Yes. All right, then we also have Sabina and Elisa from Denmark, then Sanna and Maya from Finland, Sanne and Anne from Denmark, Sarah and Mike from Spain and Germany, respectively, Saskia and Karina from Germany, and Sharon and Sarah from the United Kingdom.
Alrighty, you can see Sarah and Mikey, they're closing out on the native plants puzzle. There's only about there's only about four pieces left. They're going to be able to keep this under the 48-minute line. You can see how excited they are to get out of this one and on to the next. They hit it. Let's take a look at the transition. Are they going to try to they just slide it off to the side. Really, really cool move. And now they pick up that next puzzle. It's going to be the monsters say cheese. And
Yeah.
this is where that conversation with your pairs partner about what order you want to do things in becomes really important. How do you want to keep the energy going from puzzle to puzzle? I think it's a really good call if you take one of the more difficult puzzles that you transition to something a little more straightforward to kind of get the groove back and get the pace rolling.
Yes, definitely. And it feels like a little reward, you know, you've just like fought your way through this difficult puzzle and then you get to do something really fun. And it just, yeah, keeps the morale, like boosts your morale a little bit. And as we all know, with speed puzzling and especially marathon puzzling, the morale is like a very important player in this game that we are all playing here.
True facts. You'd see Uh, oh, we just saw Saskia's pair doing a great job. Sharon's pair, they're trying to finish out the native plants puzzle. A lot of these pairs have very quickly keyed in that working inside out, making those islands is a great way to get going on this. And then they can go to switching into that lens of shape for those pieces in order to fill in that interstitial area between those plants. But it's by no means straightforward in order to pull off. And I think it's a really interesting puzzle for communication and for all the puzzlers to work together because there's elements in there that somebody that's good at pick and place is going to be able to pick up. Somebody that's good at gradients is going to be able to key in the relative placement pretty well. But there's nothing in that puzzle that's going to be super straightforward. But it's a really interesting and a really fun image for them to be working on at this point.
Yes. And then we also have with us today Sif and Nina from Denmark, Sonia and Andy from Germany, uh, Stephanie and Kerstin from Germany. Then we have Stein and Jeanette from Belgium and Slovenia, respectively. I guess they are also puzzling from the Slovenian championship because that's going on, right? And
Oh yeah.
I think Stein is in Slovenia. I'm not 100% sure. Then we have Tammy and Jessica from the United States. And then in the bottom right, we have finally, where are you? There. We have Sofia from Portugal and Tautvidas from Lithuania. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name well. I think it's the first time I see your names. Sorry.
They're doing. Everybody's doing a solid job here. Um, uh, you can see Stein's pair in the lower left-hand corner doing that inside out tactic. You can see that they also got the words for the native plants in the that's in that upper middle. They've worked out a lot of that as well. I think it's kind of cool that they're using that sorting tray. Andrea Peng sometimes calls it the emotional support tray whenever it's just a teeny tiny little board to put things on whenever you're not entirely sure. Sonia's pair in the upper middle there, you can see that they're getting ready to do that typewriter, just work around the outside in order to get those edge pieces in, and then it's fill in at that point. There's a lot of those loose green leaves that are causing a little bit of strife for some of these pairs, but they are doing a great job here in order to finish filling that out. Stephanie's pair made that transition into the native plants puzzle, and they have that full flip. It looks like they're doing a little bit of sorting before they get onto the assembly. And I like how they're using both one side of the table and that other side, sort of cat-a-corner to each other. So that way they both have access to the pile. They're both going to be able to assemble. They can both see the image really easily. Using the table itself as a space saver is really important in pairs.
Yeah, this is another
Sorry,
topic.
we pressed. Sorry, we pressed done. Can you keep us back in the timer? Oh, thank you very much.
Congrats, Christina. Keep on going. You got through one. Let's go.
Okay. All right. So we have Thea and Erica from Slovenia. We also have Taya and Maria from Finland. Then we have Tony and oh, sorry, where's Tony? Tony. Tony and Rena. I'm not exactly. Wait, maybe I can search for Rena. All right, Rena. Okay, Rena and Antonia from Germany. Then we have Ulle and oh, where are you, Ulle? There, Ulle and Marilise from Estonia, and Louisa and Inga from Denmark and Norway, respectively.
All right, and you could see that Louisa and Inga in the lower right-hand corner, they're coming down to about the last, I want to say 25 pieces or so of that green grass. They're going to be able to keep this under an hour. I think this is their second puzzle. Um, they're doing excellent. Tori and their pair, you could see that their physicality is really great right now. They've done a big sort for that golden driveway that lead up into the building on the landscape. That's looking really good. This is the point where cheering on your partner and cheering yourself on, every piece that goes in is a victory, and you want to keep that energy flowing as much as possible in order to make sure that you don't hit the slog, especially if you're halfway through this mini marathon. We're almost at the hour point. You can see that up in the upper left right hand corner, that's Vanessa's pair. They're getting ready to finish out the native plants puzzle, and so is Miriam. I think we have a little bit of a roll off here between those two.
Yeah, let me just introduce like the final people that we have here. So we have Valerie, Valerie and Aurore from Luxembourg. Hey, a fellow Luxembourger. Let's get in touch. From Luxembourg and Belgium, respectively. Then, oh my gosh, my screen just went smaller unexpectedly. Okay, there we go. Then there is, oh my gosh, I cannot read it. In the top right, okay, Vanessa, sorry. Vanessa and Julia from Germany. In the bottom left, we have Wies and Danique from the Netherlands. And then the other people that we have on screen have just finished a puzzle or just about to finish a puzzle. And this is everyone. So we've introduced all the pairs.
Vanessa's pair in the upper right, they were able to make that transition from the first from that puzzle just over the 55-minute and 30-second line, and they started in on that landscape. And so did Raphael's pair in the lower middle. They made that transition, and now they are working on the that monster puzzle. I really like that alternation between something that's a little difficult to something that's a little more straightforward. I know some pairs like to do all of the difficult things first, so that way they have just the rapid fire things to look forward to towards the end. And so it ends up being a little bit of this carrot at the end of the at the end of a tough section for them. But the that strategy goes pair to pair. You can see Valerie's pair getting ready to close out the say cheese monster puzzle. They're at that point where it's just fill in the background. There's not a lot of big islands left for them to work on. And so is Miriam's pair with the native plants puzzle in the upper right hand corner. They have maybe about 15, maybe 20 pieces left to work out, and it's all pure shape work at this point. They've transitioned from being able to use major color hints to now using teeny tiny tidbits that are on the end of the novels or in the little holes. But they are doing a great job. We had a question from somebody in the chat. How are Katsi and Kiara doing at the moment? They are on the third puzzle. They are doing the Just Say Cheese Monster. They have almost the full border built. They have an island of one of the yellow creatures. They're doing pretty darn good, and I think it's gonna be a tight race here at the top.
Yeah, so we have now seen all of the pairs. So what Michelle is going to try to do now is catch everyone finish every puzzle that they are doing, which, is quite a task to do. So just know that if you're about to finish a puzzle, you might be on the screen right now, so you can, um, maybe that is an extra motivation to put in these final pieces even a little bit faster, because you know that people will be like cheering for you to finish this. We see some people here have some shape sorting going on, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea, especially for a puzzle like this. Someone once said, I've never shape sorted too early. Like once you have the feeling like, oh, I need to shape sort this, instead of waiting longer and wasting like minutes looking to get pieces in, um, just do the shape sort, especially if there's two of you. One of you can focus on the shape sorting and the other one can continue to puzzle, and that way you'll just have the pieces there ready to go um, for these more challenging areas of the puzzle.
Yeah, and it's always this game of trade-offs of, do you think that you're seeing things a little bit better without it being in shape sort? Does the extra touch pay off? And that's the question that I always ask is, will the extra touch to align the shape sort give you a bigger boost down the line than trying to see things outright with a little bit more of a scattered pile? Oftentimes, if you're under like 50 pieces or so and you do a shape sort, that can often be a good call, especially whenever it's something that's really chaotic or super samey. Anything that gives you a little bit of an edge, a little bit more clarity goes a long way. We saw Valerie's pair in the upper left-hand corner just finish up that monsters, and they made the transition into the native plants puzzle. I want to point out in the chat that Leto the Second is rooting for Rosalind and Eileen. Seems they woke up at full speed today. I agree wholeheartedly. They are doing great. And FR Reiter, I wish I pronounced it correctly. They're saying, let's go, everyone. Keep on going. I agree wholeheartedly. We're crossing the hour line right now, and these pairs are absolutely screaming through these puzzles much faster than I was expecting, even for everyone. You can see that Rika's pair in the lower middle there are at the last 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to say about 10 pieces for the native plants puzzle. Are they going to be able to keep it under an hour and a minute? I'm pretty sure they're going to pull it off. The upper right hand corner, Emily's pair, they're closing out the monsters puzzle. You can see that they're both trying to see those last couple of pieces. Where are they going to go? Everything starts to look very similar at a certain point. Rika's pair finish that native plants puzzle. They get the quick check. They slide it off to the side, and let's see what puzzle they pick up for their next go around. You're going to get
The
that
Brittany
box off of the
puzzle.
stand. It's the landscape.
Yeah.
Great call on that. Let's see, quick drop, and now they go immediately into the flip. One of the things that's difficult in these marathons is making sure that your flip stage is just as fast on every puzzle that you go through, and you don't reach that point of, okay, I'm just going to flip this one, I'm going to flip this one. Keeping that energy up in not just from the start of the transition, but through that full flip is really, really difficult. And communicating with your partner, what do you want to pull as you're flipping? We can see in the upper right, Emily's pair slides the puzzle off onto a tray. Brilliant move there. Brilliant.
Hmm.
I love that. Just slid it all the way off onto a totally separate tray.
That was really
Immediately
smart.
start getting the next box going. I love that move.
That was really smart. And Emily and her partner, they are joining us from the Ile de la Réunion, which is like a French territory, I guess, but they're like in the sun and it's really nice and hot. And like last time when they were puzzling together, they showed us like a little view, and just on the side behind them is a nice pool. So you just have to know, like after they're done with the marathon, they will probably be jumping into that pool and do some laps as like a little reward for the hard work that they've been doing. Okay, so we are at about 1 hour and 2 minutes. Katya and Kiara, they are busy with the third puzzle. So I think we have a little bit of time, and maybe now is a good moment to invite the artist of our unreleased puzzle to join us for a little interview. Um, Ricardo, if you're there, you can turn on your camera and your. Oh, wow, you're in between all of these posters. That's so cool.
Hi,
Hi,
how are you
Ricardo.
guys? Thanks
Good.
for
How are
having
you?
me.
Thank you for joining us. It must be, well, you're in San Francisco, so it must be the middle of the night for you.
It's 2 o'clock, yes,
Are you
but
are
I'm so
you
excited. I'm so excited. It's my first time seeing one of these competitions, and it's just so much fun that I'm not that sleepy anymore.
That's great. Well, Ricardo, tell us, how did you get involved in this at all? Like, tell us the story of how you even heard about speed puzzling, and then suddenly one of your posters becomes a puzzle. Like, tell us the story.
Definitely, Catherine. So the story is that I am a botanist at the California Academy of Sciences, and we have this awesome volunteer program. And one of our volunteers making plant specimens is Andrea Peng. And Andrea Peng saw my posters and she really liked them. And eventually she says, I think that'd be a good puzzle. I'm going to talk to my friend. And so I really have Andrea to thank for being here today.
Yeah, and what did you know that Andrea was into speed puzzling, or was it the first time you heard about this?
I had found out because Charlotte, her daughter, worked with us for a while too, and so one day it came out, and eventually we found out that she was a really great puzzler, and that was really amazing because we also sort of got introduced to that world, the world of puzzling, because it's very new to me, and I think that helped me know it even exists.
Hmm. Yeah, that's really interesting that you find out about this whole like niche hobby through like friends, and now you're really involved in it because one of your puzzles is being used, or one of your posters is being used as a puzzle in this competition and also in a competition yesterday. How does it feel to have all of these pairs and be able to watch them put together a poster that you have made?
It feels surreal, you know. It's really amazing because, uh, not a lot of people make posters, and I've always sort of believed in the biodiversity posters as a way to expose people to nature and
Mhm.
biodiversity, and sort of put faces and names to all these plants that we talk about, and so to actually see people embrace the idea and have it in a puzzle is really sort of like makes me feel like it was worth it. And then when I
Mhm.
see the puzzle and I can read the names and stuff like that, I feel like, wow, the educational component is still there. And so people can learn names. And I think names are really great because it empowers people to know more about nature, more about these plants. So I can't believe it is great. And I'm really thankful for the opportunity.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your process? How do you take these pictures? How do you put together the posters? How do you decide what goes on there, what stays off? Like, I want to know everything.
Yeah, exactly. So I have come up with a way that I can speed up the process, and that is I use a digital camera and I use a flash. Usually I try to use the flash to try to get a black background. And so I try to put the flower in a position that hopefully doesn't have nothing in the back. Sometimes I use a tweezer to hold it so I don't have my hand there, and that even speeds up that part of cleaning my hand off. I use the flash, I get a black background, and then I use the program GIMP, which is sort of a free Photoshop that I really, really like and recommend. And then with that program, Catherine, what I do is I open the photo, and now that I have a black background, I can use a tool called the magic wand to touch the black. It'll
Hmm.
select the background. I can invert the selection, cut the flower off, paste it in another GIMP file, and paste each flower in a layer and name it with a species name
Hmm.
because they can get really have a lot of species. The botanical garden poster that I made has 350 species. So it has 350 layers plus 350 layers of text, one for each of the species.
Hmm.
And so it kind of depends if I have the photos already or not. So if I don't have them, I might be constrained by trying to get more photos to fill the poster. So that might delay the process. But if I have them all, it can be relatively quick. And then what I do is I start putting them in the canvas as I get them. And I don't put the text until the end because I don't want to be moving too many things around. And then ultimately, the beauty of the plants sort of helps that kind of however you arrange them, it kind of looks beautiful, you know?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's really
So
cool. So
that's mostly the process. Mhm.
do you go out and collect these flowers yourself?
Yes, all of these photos I took either in field trips in different countries. I'm from Costa Rica, so there's a
Hmm.
lot of photographs in my posters from Costa Rica. I also lived in Wisconsin, so I have a poster of plants of Madison, Wisconsin. I have um, I have a poster of the mosses of Golden Gate Park. I now have one of the wildlife of Golden
Oh,
Gate
cool.
Park, which is the T-shirt.
Yeah.
And so I definitely go and take all the pictures myself. And when I can, if it's in a trip, a scientific trip, I'll make specimens too. I
Hmm.
work in a herbarium. In the academy, we have a amazing collection of plant specimens. We have one of the largest in the country, and so it's great to work there. So when you can take pictures and have them backed up by a specimen that you can confirm the identification, it's pretty great. So it helps a lot to work in a place like that. And so then I made it my job to try to facilitate to other people learning with the posters.
Hmm.
And I see it also, Catherine, as an open field guide, because field guides are really awesome to learn. But after we use them, a lot of the times we put them in the shelf. So my hope is that with these open field guides, we can keep them open and also decorate our spaces with
Hmm.
biodiversity.
Yes, that would have been my next question is what do you usually do with the posters? Can people buy the posters from you, or like copies of the posters, or how, like what, what are you doing with
Yeah,
them?
exactly. Well, I've been little by little learning how to print them in bulk or do this or that, but I've been putting them on a website called Redbubble that people can print them
Mhm.
out of, but also, oh, sorry, just a second here.
Yeah,
Can you hear me, Catherine?
I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, so it's really interesting that I got invited to this. Is my first time that a puzzle is made, and it's the first time here in San Francisco that I actually exhibit the posters. I'm
Hmm.
exhibiting them at the Helen Crocker Library of the San Francisco Botanical Garden, and they're sold there. Some of them are sold there also. Um, and so, yeah, little by little, they're also sold at the store of the botanical garden. So I'm little by little trying to get folks to sell them in the stores around the Academy of Sciences and the garden.
Hmm.
But I'm kind of getting there. Yeah, it's I've been doing this for a while, but for myself mostly. So for the selling, I'm still learning how to get there.
Hmm. Well, I mean, right now you have at least 95 pairs, so each have a copy of your poster, well, in the form of a puzzle. And then there was another Flex meeting yesterday where I think also around 90 pairs have the puzzle. So at least 180 of them are somewhere in Europe or in the
Wow.
US or the rest of the world. Yeah, at the moment. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I also want to thank Michelle and Eric because I got some copies of the puzzle, and so this is gonna be I did puzzles when I was little with my family, but not in a while. So this is
Hmm.
gonna be the first puzzle, and as I hear, it's not that easy. The so it'll be fun to try and make it, and I already have it ready in my office so that people in the academy can give it a try as well.
Fun, yeah. Well,
I'm
maybe it
gonna
will
I'm,
be
I'm gonna
easier for you because you know all of the plants.
I'm gonna do a quick interrupt just to do an update on the field. Um,
Yes, go ahead.
Kiara and Kati and Hannah and Caleb, they're about even piece wise. I think Kiara and Kati are a little ahead. Um, in terms of overall piece count, finishing up the monsters versus the landscape here. Chloe and Sky are about halfway through that third puzzle. Lenka and Philippa, or on that third puzzle, Lenka and Philippa did a big sort, and they are cooking. It's going to be really really tight here for puzzlers moving on to that fourth puzzle. Um, Ricardo, I was really curious. Um, I'm also in science ed. I've been doing that for years, and I love it. Science outreach is so difficult. Um, what do you think about people trying to learn about plants from a puzzle at speed? And is this going to be a new conduit for a lot of other science concepts as well?
Wow, Jim, great question. I hope so. I'm really all ears, and I just hope to pursue this further. And so if you guys have more ideas, please get in touch with me. I have a lot of designs. We can make tons of biodiversity puzzles. Hopefully, maybe do some event at the academy would be great. Where for me is important to share also the native species because it's a speed puzzle. It might be hard to learn the name, so obviously there's a trade-off. You know that it's not everybody that's going to be able to see and get caught by a name, but as long as you get some folks into it, I think the mission is there. And in the case of the native species, it's the idea to try to show people how beautiful our native species are. Some people don't know, so they figure, oh, maybe the introduced are more beautiful, but not necessarily. We have amazing plants. So that's part of our mission, is to regenerate the natural world and do it with our native species. And so we'll see, Jim, but I'm optimistic.
I I know the question that usually comes up is like, what is your favorite plant? I'm curious, what is the most interesting fact about a plant that people should know about?
Well, wow, there's a lot of them, but lately I've been interested in a lot in some plants that have flowers that move, Jim. Did you know that some plants have flowers that move when visited by pollinators?
When you say move, do you mean like in the breeze or like they have the somatic response to being touched kind of a thing?
Yeah, in this case, in the genus Salvia, in the sages, when the pollinators visit a salvia, the stamens are blocking the entrance to the flower. And so there's a movement, a mechanical reaction, if you will. When the pollinator goes through to get the nectar, forces the stamens to move downwards in a what folks call a staminal lever mechanism. So, and it's pretty fast. So all of a sudden you see a flower moving really fast and you're like, wow, plants can move, and so lately sages have really caught my eye with those different kinds of movements.
That's so cool. What's the name of that mechanism again? Because it sounds almost like a latch gate that some people might see on a backyard door or backyard gate kind of a thing.
Yeah, people call it a staminal lever, like a lever made from part of the stamen. So it kind of functions like a seesaw and also and so the lower part is blocking access to the nectar, and then it allows to go in when you pressure through. And so that's the staminal lever mechanism in sages. Few plant groups do that. We actually found another plant group that does that recently at the academy, and so we were pretty excited about that.
That's so cool. I want to do a quick update. Kiara and Kati have started the fourth puzzle. Hannah and Hannah's pair is about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes behind, starting the fourth puzzle as well. You can see on screen they just made that transition. So this is a really really tight race, and I think it's going to come down to which of the pairs can keep the energy going and can really see how they want to approach this last puzzle, because that is a lot of fur, and fur is one of the Ricardo, we sometimes call it one of the four F's of puzzling that people struggle mightily with. It's often flat colors. Fur is another one. Uh, Fauna is one that also throws people for a loop, because a lot of those leafy greens they kind of stick out as well. And I always forget what the fourth one is. For some crazy reason, I think it's just my brain isn't always running at capacity whenever it's at 5 in the morning. And
Hey,
I know
Jim.
you're at like 2 in the morning there as well.
Yeah. But it's funny you mentioned the F's. This is not with an F, but also Catherine asked me about the process, and the margins ended up being really broad in this poster. And I wanted to reduce them, and it was too late by the time I had sent it, but it's okay. But all this to say that it has been a learning experience from the first poster I tried to make, where the printer said, hey, you got no margin, you're gonna need a margin, and then to being really paranoid of being sure there's a margin. And so it's all these little things that you learn along the way.
Yeah, I totally get it. And Sandra just reminded me that it is feathers is the other fourth F, which often makes sense, because the snag is usually duplication throughout it, or just not being able to get a solid foothold inside of that texture, as it were. But everybody's doing a really really solid job here. Ricardo, about how much time did it take you to make this image? And does it feel strange to see these puzzlers get these done in like under 40 minutes, under an hour?
Yes, yeah, because some of them can take about a year. So, uh, yeah, uh,
Well,
espe-
yeah, I mean, I was hearing about the number of layers that you put onto this on top
yeah.
of just finding the plant. Like that's amazing.
So, Jim, but to tell you the full story, just because it's harder to calculate just this one, I was doing also the botanical garden, which has a lot more species, and then I sort of took from that one and from another one and just took the native species, and then I went to a list of species that of natives to confirm that they were from here. But ultimately, Jim, if you don't have the pictures already, it might take a while because you got to do a few field trips usually to the places at different times of year. So I would say that it's fair to say that a year is about how much it might take, how long it might take.
That's such a labor of love to go out of your way and get that, because I'm sure there's stock photos that you could pull up, or there's other researchers that have similar images of some of these plants. I know there's artwork of the you know um, there's all of the glass models of flowers and plants that exist out in the world.
Hmm.
There's older drawn images. So to spend that much time to get your own images of them in the way that you want, in the way that it looks, that's such a labor of love. And I think that really speaks to how much you care about what it looks like to the public for them to enjoy it and learn from it. That's so, so cool.
Thank you, Jim. That means a lot that you think that, and I feel that way, and I'm gonna keep doing it, especially when I hear good feedback like that.
Oh yeah. Take a look at the screen here real quick. If you're watching the YouTube, Aiden and Sabrina are getting ready to switch out of the native plants. They're coming in on the last like 6 7 pieces or so. You'd see Sonia and their partner just finish theirs, and they do a quick dump. What do you think about this switch from this puzzle to the next one? Let's just kind of watch it together and see what happens here. Well, it looks like a slide off to the side. Whoop. And they just pick it up and toss it away. Apparently, I always love that move. When Ricardo, when I'm watching puzzlers, and I've said this on other streams, I uh, it breaks my heart sometimes how quickly the puzzles get taken apart, considering how much effort people put into it to build the puzzle. Um, do you, as you're watching some of these
Sorry,
pairs?
Jim. Just a short thing. Mihaly Varga, your screen is off. Can you check your screen, please? Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry.
As you're watching some of these puzzlers, spend this chunk of time on that image, does it feel weird to see them suddenly just crumple it up or toss it off to the side and move on to the next thing?
It does. It does. I'm trying to catch one of those moments.
It's really really fascinating to see how these folks move through it. I tend to take a scientific lens whenever I'm looking and watching puzzling, and think a lot of it as like an efficiency game. Do you ever, whenever you're going out into the field and you're trying to figure out what sort of image you're wanting to make next, are you going through a specific analytical process, or do you just kind of go through and see what catches your eye and kind of take things from there?
Yeah, Jim. No, these days the poster does make you have to be efficient because you cannot put all the structures of the plant in the poster. There's not enough space and there's too many species. So you end up having to deal with these trade-offs and choices. And so, for example, the flowers are not to scale. And so that was something that became a little difficult to keep track all the time with a little ruler, and then the really small ones were always going to be really small, and you can't see the details. So ultimately my thought process is to try to get some really crispy photos that show some the morphology of the flower as best as possible. And then so I check to have a really really crispy one, and then I can keep going.
That's great. Chloe and Sky just started the fourth puzzle. You can see they did that transition out of the monsters. I think they only spent about 21 minutes on that monster puzzle, which is a ridiculously fast time uh, to be doing any puzzle, let alone any puzzle after doing two other ones, let alone doing any puzzle at almost at almost 4 in the morning their time. It's crazy impressive what these folks are able to do. Ricardo, are you ever staying up to this hour working on images?
No, not now. I used to before, maybe more, but nowadays, no. I try to get a good night's sleep and be really fresh the next day for everything. So, no, I usually am asleep at this time for sure.
I get you. Well, looking at the field here real quick, but we kind of have an interesting race off between Kiara and Kati and Hannah and Caitlin. You can see that Kiara and Kati, they haven't gone for a full border. They're doing these bigger chunks. It looks like Kiara has decided to go for the white cat early and is trying to get a lot of that fur out, whereas Kati is working from the top down, getting that sky gradient worked out. And if you look over at Hannah and Caitlin's screen, they've done the full border for a 500-piece puzzle that's going to be about 86 pieces, and they're working from the top down, so they have a lot of that sky worked out together. I think piece-wise, this might be about even. Um, so it's going to be really interesting to see how Hannah's pair gets on with some of that fur section. Um, and compared to Kiara and Kati. Um, I think piece wise this is going to be about even. This is going to be really really close to see how this comes into in towards the end here.
Yes.
Oh oh yeah, go ahead, Catherine. Sorry.
I had another question for Ricardo. I'm just interested to know, have you always been into plants? Like, how did this fascination grow in you? And tell me a little bit about this, this fascination with flowers and maybe your job.
Yeah, no, definitely. I grew up in Costa Rica, and I got I, I really got into going bird watching, for example, going into these reserves near my home. And when I was bird watching, I noticed that the birds really like berries from these trees.
Hmm.
And I started to get really interested in knowing what those trees were. And so I started to pursue how can I make a specimen and take it to a museum and try to get the name for these trees. And so I basically, Catherine, I had a hero that had made the books of the trees of Costa Rica. And I really admired him, but I didn't know him, right? And I said to myself, I need to make specimens, and this guy works in a museum. I'm gonna call him up, and I'm
Hmm.
gonna ask him if it's okay with him for me to bring specimens there to ID him and learn. And I
Hmm.
called them up and I asked for Nelson Zamora, and they passed me through. And he answered, and he was really nice, and he said, "Sure, bring your specimens." And then I ended up meeting him and started to collect more specimens and learn more and more the names of the plants. And then I started to find some specimens that I couldn't identify.
Hmm.
And when I asked around, my friend said you should write to the guy at Cal Academy, the expert. He works at Cal Academy. And I did. I wrote to him, and I got to work with him, and I ended up studying with him a master's degree, and that's partly why I ended up here.
Hmm.
So it was yeah. For a long time, I was observing a lot in nature and really got into it and realized that making specimens could get me there. And then I just kept going, and my mom was a little worried because biology is a difficult profession, but and I understood that. I went to law school for a while because I wanted to sort of like do
Hmm.
environmental law, and because I
Mm.
did get through to this, Catherine, a little bit because of you know uh, social justice and protection of nature and against deforestation. That was my other motivation. And so I was gonna do both, a little bit of law and biology, but there
Hmm.
wasn't a lot of environmental law yet, and I was really getting into nature, so I opted more for biology, and fortunately it has worked out, and my mom
Yeah.
is tranquila now. She
Yeah, and now these posters that you make are not just about biology and not just about plants, but they are also just very aesthetically pleasing to look at. So I feel like you've brought like the artistic side to it as well with these posters.
Yeah, I hope so. I think we need all the tools we can get now to really protect our beautiful planet, you know? And so
Mhm.
I hope to really cause an impact with all those beautiful plants. And you know, I see the people's faces when they go in my office and they smile and it seems to brighten their day, you know, and so that makes me want to keep doing it.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Jim, I interrupted you before when I was asking my question.
Oh no,
Which
no, I am a nerd at heart and in every other capacity. So I just hearing people gush about what makes them excited is a
Mhm.
beautiful thing. And Ricardo, I appreciate so much how excited you are to share your joy about a subject that often scares people away a little bit, right? Like everybody likes to look at a pretty flower. They're like, "Oh yeah, that's a lovely blue. How cool is that?" Right? But to be able to get people excited not just about, "Oh, it's a pretty blue flower." Okay, but what is the pretty blue flower? Why are we excited about it? What makes the petals do what they do? What's exciting about the environment that it's like those layers of things? That's a really difficult It's really difficult to get other people excited about that, and you just do it in such a wonderful, beautiful way. So it's I'm excited for you, and I'm excited to see the next several things that you come up with as you just as you go through life here, which is really cool. Um, yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
Jim.
Sorry.
Thank you. Those words are so beautiful. And if you ever come visit the academy, you know, let me know.
Hey,
And
don't threaten me with a good time, because I will show up and nerd out with you. I'm on the material science end of things these days, so I'll get into the cellulose structure with you, man.
yeah, or and maybe we can do some sort of puzzle
Oh,
activity.
that would be absolutely lovely. Um, speaking of the puzzle activity, I just wanna shift to looking at the screen real quick. We've had so many finishers move from puzzle to puzzle. It looks like Romina and Vanessa, both of those pairs are coming in on like the last, I want to say 20 pieces or so before they wrap these up and move on to the next one. It looks like Helen's pair in the lower right, they have a lot of that yellow worked out, and then they're going to have the same 30 pieces in that dark green to finish up. In the lower left-hand corner, you can see it's that Martus. Sorry, I'm not quite able to see it with that background. But they're finishing up the native plant puzzle. You can see that they're at that fill-in stage where they have maybe about 15 pieces, and they just need to get around each other. They can use the shape of the piece in order to sink those in, switching lenses in their eyes as to what they're focusing on, so that way they can keep the gas going. Um, you can see in the upper right, Tony and Rena, they just finished that landscape puzzle. They take a quick picture. Let's have a look at the transition here. They're going to take the picture. Are they just going to slide it off? Are they going to pick it up? Oh, they do a full puzzle pickup and off to a wall somewhere. And they are on to the native plants puzzle very, very rapidly. Vanessa finishing that puzzle, sliding it off into the Nathan. You can see that they did a little bit of a pickup and slide. They're going to move on to the monsters. This is really exciting. SJ, uh, you're right on. I was looking at the chat. SJ thinks Kati and Kiara finished that in about an hour 36 last time. Yeah, they're Katya and Kiara are closing in on just the dark fur remaining of that darker black cat. And I think that Hannah and Chloe are not too far behind them. It looks like Hannah and Chloe have maybe about 20 pieces of white fur left, but they are making pretty good progress on those on that dark as well. But I think this is going to be Kati and Kiara coming into the finish here. But this is a really, really close play by everybody.
Well, Jim, before we go on to to comment more on the our finishers here, let's say and thank you and goodbye to Ricardo. Thank you so much for joining us. I really enjoy not just this puzzle, but also the posters that I see behind you. I kind of want to have that like rainbow colored one that is like hanging on your wall. Yeah, that
This
one
is
is
of all the,
beautiful.
this is salvia of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, it was really lovely hearing your story and your enthusiasm for plants and showing them to other people and educating people about all the diversity that we have in the plant world. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us in the middle of the night and enjoy the rest of the live stream. And you're probably going to see some people still working on your puzzle for the rest of the evening or the night.
Well, thanks so much for having me, Jim, Catherine, and Michelle. It's been great sharing with you guys for a while and getting to know more about the puzzling world. This is amazing.
Yes,
Well,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
welcome into the community, and we'll talk to you after bet. Congrats.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Have a good day, okay?
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Oh wow, this is such exciting puzzling. You can see that Katya and Kiara. I'm going to remind folks they just did the 24-hour puzzle marathon in
Well, it's
France,
still
and now
going. It's still going on, the
oh, it's
24.
still going. Wait, they're
Yeah.
doing this as a side project?
Yes.
Y'all crazy, all right? Like I adore you. You're fantastic human beings. You're wonderful puzzlers, but y'all a little crazy.
Just just a smidgen.
just a little bit in the best way. You can see that they are coming into about the last 50 pieces or so. It's black
Yeah.
pieces on a black table, so it's kind of hard to take count. One of the things that I really enjoy about those two is the accuracy that they hit with. If they pick up a piece, it's usually going in, even whenever it's in this like darker section. You can see that they're not going. Their hands aren't fluttering all over the puzzle, all over the place. They're really focusing on being as discreet as possible,
Mhm.
which is really cool. You can see Hannah and Caitlin. They're coming into the last 70 pieces or so of the black cat. They're finishing up those white pieces. It is almost it is ridiculously early for them. I think it's going to be something like 2:40 in the morning. Whether they stayed up or not, um, this is
Well,
kind of equal footing.
it sounds like they stayed up because Caitlin said that for the in answering the questions, she said for the Paris Marathon, Hannah and I will be puzzling in the same room as our teammates Chloe and Sky. We are having a slumber party to prepare for the 1 a.m. start time. So they're looking forward to making each other laugh, to keep the energy up and not fall asleep.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we see Katya and Kiara, they are working both on this black section, and now Hannah and Caitlin have also finished the white section and are all also working now on this black section. But it looks like Kiara and Kati are slightly ahead. They only have, yeah, it's really hard to guess. I would say maybe about like 30-ish pieces left, whereas on Hannah's and Caitlin's table, I don't know what this would be, like 60 pieces or something like that. And because this is like black fur, it's the hardest thing. For me, like a black fur would be, the nemesis, the thing that I would least like to do, because the problem with fur is that there's so much going on every piece that it's really hard to tell where it goes. And if you compare it with this black cat, where you can see some of these like shadow lines that are going through the white cat, you have something to orientate yourself on. But if it's like a black fur, like I don't know how they're doing it, but they are doing it.
It's difficult. We sometimes talk about overlapping lenses, right? Where if you're looking just at color or just at texture, you kind of run into a bad time, especially with fur. So if you can overlap that and go, okay, what is the tightest fur texture that I can look at here? Can I orient this a little bit? How can I look at this in a slightly new way in order to make progress. Sometimes it's the case where the image can give you a little bit of a hint as to how to look at those pieces, because you might see a little bit more texture in one spot or a little bit of a brighter chunk of fur in certain places, and that can give you an anchor point to then work off of. We just saw Saskia and their pair move on to the fourth puzzle, I believe. They just did a really quick transition, and I think they set up a black background just for this puzzle. It's really really cool to see how they're going about that. But uh, you can see that Hannah and Caitlin, they just transitioned into doing a big shape sort, and so they have those three rolls of pieces. Kiara and Kati just finished. Congratulations! Very well done.
Hey.
Super
Well,
super excited for you.
they finished in 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 46 seconds. They did four 500-piece puzzles in this time. As kind of a side quest to their 24-hour marathon, they just came in and like sweep the room and like won this marathon as well. Congratulations, you two. And I would say have fun enjoying the rest of your day, but you're just gonna go puzzle more, right?
Yes, we are. And
Yeah.
I'm
So
going
you
to
can't
check when.
stay, you probably can't stay for an interview because I assume you're
5
gonna be
minutes.
just, yeah. Well,
We are going back in 45 minutes, so we need to
okay.
get lunch, but we
All
can
right.
say hi at least.
Can I ask a quick question? And this
Yes.
might sell it. Um, you're in the middle of the 24-hour marathon.
Uh-huh.
What?
Mhm.
Why? Just why?
Why not?
Why not?
That's a
Like,
question.
Okay,
we
that's
also
fair.
have
Yeah,
friends here.
that's
I mean, why
entirely
not?
fair.
We, we have a team of 8, so this year we are only puzzling 12 hours
Yeah, and we
each.
are here to
So
puzzle, so why not puzzle
we
even
had the
more?
extra time, you know?
I appreciate the Hillary Duff approach to puzzling. Why not take a crazy chance, right? No, it's really fun. Just how do you two plan on keeping the energy up throughout all of these puzzles, especially the tricky ones, the ones that might be a little wacky, as you're cooking through the entire day?
Today we had chocolate right before we started.
I mean, while you puzzle, the energy goes back up.
Yeah.
Like it's
And
in the breaks the problem. Don't stop. Yes, exactly. Don't stop puzzling, and then it works. So
And
that was Aaron. You
I
probably
gave them
didn't
all
hear
some
it.
entertainment by telling them my dreams, which I'm not going to do publicly now. But
No. So who is
Just
there?
be silly.
Who is there with you at the 24-hour marathon?
Andrea, Karen, Alejandro,
Victor,
Victor,
and
Hannah,
Tobias.
and Tobias.
Okay, that seems like an all-star team. We wish you good luck for the 24-hour marathon. Thank you for jumping in real quick.
Thank you.
And we're gonna
Thank
see
you.
some other people struggling through this black fur. How did you get on with the black fur?
It was the hardest thing of the day, but
Yes, we shape sorted. It was done after 0 seconds. And then we just whatever.
I looked at the shades, and like there are these blue and like
Gray,
gray
yeah.
lines. So like piece by piece, you look for the piece that
And also
fits.
the shapes are quite
Unique.
squiggly
So
and
yeah,
yeah.
but it just find that one piece, and if you don't see it, then abandon and go to another corner and continue and just get through it.
Nice. Okay, well, we'll let you go. Say thanks to Andrea for introducing her friend to the speed puzzling and for, the fact that we now all know more about the natives San Francisco plants. And good luck in the marathon. And yeah, see you
Thank you.
next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
The after
Bye.
bit, congrats. Oh wow, I adore those two. They are amazing, and it's exciting to see. I do want to point out here. We're looking at some of these other folks that are closing in on the fourth puzzle. I believe we're going to have a pretty tight race here. Chloe and Sky have made huge progress very, very quickly on this fourth puzzle. They were behind by probably about 5-10 minutes coming into the fourth puzzle, and they've caught up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Hannah and oh, sorry.
Yeah, Hannah and Caitlin are doing really, really well, and Ria and her partner, they are also tackling. So we have 3 teams that are right now tackling this black fur at the end of this fourth puzzle, which, as we just heard, was the hardest part.
Yeah. You can see that Hannah and Caitlin, they've already done their shape sort. And it looks like Rhea and their partner, they haven't done a full shape sort, but they are being so accurate with a lot of those pieces. They have very similar anchor points down through the middle. I think
Mhm.
Chloe and Sky, they're trying to get that line across the top by the cat's neck. This is going to be really, really close here coming into the end. And I'm going to remind everybody, these puzzlers have been going for about an hour and 46 minutes back to back to back, and now they're in this chaosy black fur. It's going to be really, really difficult in order to keep that energy going whenever you have to try a piece in a couple of different spots. We sometimes talk about brute forcing a puzzle, and that's it's not the case of like trying to shove the pieces into the holes. It's an algorithmic approach of picking up a piece, trying it in a whole bunch of different spots, and that's what we think about brute force, is that it's an algorithm process, not a physical one so much. But whenever you're at this stage, if you can get any sort of foothold in, we were hearing Kiara and Kati talk about how there's some lines of blue fur. There might be little spots that you can get a grip on. That goes a long way. We can see that Hannah and Caitlin, they're starting to accelerate their close a little bit as they get more pieces in. More information about the shape reveals itself, and so you can get a little bit more wiggle room going. But Rhea and their pair, they are cruising right now. They have a couple of lines in through the center of that. If those are accurately placed, they're going to have 2 more bits of information to get that shape done. This is really, really close. I think piece for piece count, they're about even right now.
Yeah, we'll have to keep a close eye on both teams to see who, because Hannah and Caitlin, they have this little empty spot still in the face of the cat, which is not there for Ria and Laura. Um, and as you said, they have these like kind of lines in the middle, and I saw that uh, Chiara and Kati also had these lines done. So I wonder if there's something on those pieces, and that's maybe these blue lines that they were talking about, which is like maybe like a little bit of a shadow within the image of the fur of the cat. Chloe and Sky, I think, what's nice is that Chloe and Sky and Hannah and Caitlin, they're in the same room, so
Mhm.
they can have each other to
To egg
cheer
each
each
other
other
on a
on.
little bit.
Yeah, to have the energy in the room, to feel the pressure a bit more than if you're just in a room on your own with your pairs puzzle. So that might be helping them also not falling asleep, as
Well,
they said.
and I want to point out that all 4 of them are on the same ridiculously powerful U.S. team, Girls in STEM.
Hmm.
So I know there might be a little bit of bragging rights comparisons, but they are all fantastic puzzlers and really, really big fish in a big pond. We're watching some of the best U.S. puzzlers go to town right now. We can see Ria and her pair. They're doing great. You can see that they've gotten those lines horizontally together. But I think Hannah and Caitlin are coming into the last 20 pieces or so, and now they're being really, really accurate. Everything they pick up is going in immediately. We're seeing this acceleration kick in as there's less and less uncertainty, less ambiguity, and they're able to close this out really, really rapidly. I think they're going to be able to keep this under the hour 50 line. We're at or sorry, I think we're going to be able to pull it off, but it's going to be a tight close here.
Yeah, there's like 22 seconds left if they want to make it under 1 hour 50.
Oh, come on. We believe in you. You can do it.
I
There's
think they can. I
three
think they can.
more pieces left. 2, 1. There it is.
Yes!
Congratulations.
And 10 seconds to spare almost. Yay, congrats.
It was an
Hannah
amazing
Caitlin,
job.
if you want to stick around for an interview later, um, that would be amazing. And maybe we can interview the four of you. That'd be really fun.
That would be a blast. Well, and we could see now. This is whenever there's a marathon like this, a difference of a couple of minutes is a difference of a difference of a handful of seconds whenever you're doing just one 500 piece puzzle. So this is all really tight finishes. You can see that Ria's pair, they were a little behind coming into this last puzzle, and they made up a ton of great time, really well. I think they're accelerating into the end. Yep, they've reached that point where they can use a lot more shape work, and they can work through the middle here. I think they're going to be able to snag third place here. The top 10 is going to be a crazy blitz of puzzlers. And I hope everybody's excited to see that. Ria and Luther, Ria's pair, you can see that they're both right-handed, and I think one of them's doing this thing where they're pointing at where the hole is with one hand, and that can sometimes help track where to focus your eyes, which is really difficult whenever you have a lot of similar textures or similar colors. Being able to go, this is the thing that I want to look at. Here's the hole that I'm aiming for, and not getting distracted is huge. But they have the last four pieces or so coming in. You can see they're trading around. There we go. That little
Yes,
that little boost.
yes.
Congratulations.
Wow,
Very well
congrats.
done. A sigh of relief.
Yeah, I mean, getting four 500-piece puzzles done in under 2 hours means that you, on average, you were faster than 30 minutes per puzzle. And there were at least two hard puzzles in this, I would say. I mean, this is not an easy puzzle because half of the puzzle is a black fur, and then the botanical puzzle also wasn't easy. So yes, two two harder puzzles, two slightly maybe more easier puzzles, more straightforward puzzles, and under 2 hours. I mean, this is just amazing. um, Not a lot of puzzlers would be able to do that.
Oh, I mean, there's lots of puzzlers that aren't able to get a single 500 piece puzzle under this timeline. What these folks are doing is superhuman, and kind of shows you the level of competition that's gotten so much higher over the last couple of years. Um, we often talk about how for pairs not too long ago, it was crazy to go under an hour for a 1,000 piece puzzle. And now we have so many pairs that are able to do 2,000 piece puzzles in under 2 hours effectively. Um, which is just bananas, and getting close to that mark in any way is huge. So everybody should be really proud of themselves. We can see that Chloe and Sky are coming in on the last 10, maybe 10 pieces or so. Lenka and Philippa are similarly on that black cat. They've done a big shape sort, and they are looking to grind through the rest of this. I know that Chloe and Sky are on those last couple of pieces. There it is. Sink it. Hit the timer. Congratulations.
Yay! Congrats.
Just at the 153.57. It might be off by a second or two, but they did a fantastic job. Well done.
Yeah, it's 153.36.
Oh, there we go. Really well done. And the hunt continues for the rest of the top 10. I know that there are some tricky puzzles in this batch, but everybody's doing a really fantastic job of continuing to move. It's difficult at this stage to keep the physicality up, and it's easy to kind of get into that. I sometimes think of it as um, the not slow mode, but focusing more on passive puzzling, where you're going one piece at a time and like, oh, okay, well maybe this one will go here. The physicality change at this stage of the puzzle is a huge boon to the pairs that are able to grab onto it and keep cruising. Um, and this
Yeah,
is
and if
this is going to be really cool. Yeah.
If we look here at the technique that Lenka and Philippa are having to finish this puzzle, we can see Lenka, she's like pointing with her finger at the piece
Hmm.
that she wants to find. And then she looks in the shape sorted pieces. And once she has it, she like puts it in there. So she doesn't move on from this one. Now she didn't find it. She moves on to the next piece and is looking for it. And yeah, now I'm talking about it. Probably that's why she can't find them. But just before this, she did like 5, 6 pieces exactly the same way. And I actually like this technique of putting your finger like where you want it to go, because not only does it help you to find where you want to go, but it also shows your pairs partner that they don't have to look for that piece because you are
Yeah.
looking for it. So you're saving yourself from doing double work and both looking for the same piece, because this happens sometimes in teams or in pairs where you're not experienced maybe with each other, and you both go for like the same area or something like that without communicating, and then later you realize like, oh, I have half of the pieces, you have half of the pieces. Well, we should have known that beforehand. So there just the communication comes in, but even here you can do this without physically communicating, and just by pointing, I mean by orally communicating and just by pointing, so that the other person knows where they don't have to look.
Yeah,
Okay.
you'll see that a lot in teams, which is great, like you were saying.
Eileen and Rosaline are also uh, working on this cat. They have not shape sorted. Like some people prefer to do the shape sort. It gives you a little bit of a more methodical approach to finishing out a puzzle, whereas other people, it yeah, it does take work to shape sort. So and if you can still find pieces, then why would you? You know, if you can still consistently put them in. um, so it is a matter of taste and just of skill, and like what are you able to see and what are you not. um, yeah,
Well, and even
sad.
even then, there's questions about how do you shape sort, right?
Mhm.
There's a lot of folks that do kind of what we've seen with like a Philippa, where you try to line up those pieces a little bit. I know there's several puzzlers where uh, they try to just I shouldn't say randomly. They just cluster the pieces that are the similar shape together rather than trying to do any kind of specific lining up.
Oof.
And oh, you don't enjoy that?
Oh no, I mean if I shape sort, then I sort them that they're all orientated in the same direction. And even if I have time and it's easy to see, I will even separate these like the standard piece shapes into two groups, one with the like higher like a diagonal orientation, and one with the
Yeah.
horizontal organization. Just because my brain, if it's too chaotic, then my brain is like, this doesn't work, this is too much chaos, we can't do this methodically if there's chaos. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Real quick, Aline, I think your pair's camera has turned off. So if you can hear us, try to crank that back on real quick.
Yeah, it's on, it's back on,
Oh,
thanks.
there we go. Cool. Um, Yeah, this is actually really close between Lenka and Philippa and Aline's pair. They're all in that black section. I think Lenka and Philippa have a piece count advantage at this point, and they're reaching the point of zero ambiguity, so they can use just the shape for a lot of what's working on in there. I don't think Eileen and their pair have gone for a shape sort this early for themselves yet, but this is some amazing puzzling from all of these pairs. Lenka and Philippa, they've let Lenka's a long time puzzler on EJJ and around the world, and is just superhuman whenever it comes to a lot of this. They're at the last 10 pieces or so. Uh, Eileen's pair, they are cruising through this, trying to get the anchor points where they can. Lenka and Philippa, there is no ambiguity now. Anything they pick up can go in. There's not a bigger gap. They're going to be able to blaze through these last 10 pieces or so. I love
Yes,
that. They hit the timer. Congratulations.
yes, congrats
Very, very,
Lenka
very well
and
done.
Philippa,
Under the
well
2 hour
done.
line. That was
Yeah,
a
that's
super
amazing.
fast close. I love watching puzzlers where they hit that point of I've got this, and you can see that physicality shift from I think I know where these go to I know where these pieces go. And it
Mhm.
just flies so quickly. This is also part of why, for folks watching, sometimes we miss finishes on screen, and it's because it can look like somebody has 30 pieces left, but when they transition to the I know exactly where every one of these pieces go, they can get that many pieces in under a minute, and that switch happens real quick.
Yeah, and we can see now Eileen and Rosaline, they are working on getting these last pieces in, and they are putting them in, and yeah, they don't seem to need shape sort. They're both doing things, they're both trying pieces. If you don't do a shape sort, you do have more of this trial and error where what I always call like Alejandro's method, where he takes
Mhm.
pieces and he just puts them and he tries them and he moves on and things like that. And as long as you're moving, as long as you're doing something and not just blankly staring or like in a freeze position, that's fine, and you feel like you're doing something.
Mhm.
Um, so in this case, it seems to be working for them quite well. I see both of them putting in pieces regularly,
Yeah.
or at least trying them in different places and then putting them back. So we will see how long it takes them to finish these last few pieces.
It's a tricky chunk of the puzzle for sure. A lot of times whenever Mari and I are coaching puzzlers, we talk about how do you control the chaos at that stage, right? Sometimes using a piece jail, where if you picked it up and you've tried to brute force it for a little bit, you piece jail it, and then you don't worry about it until a little bit later.
Mhm.
And that's one way to make sure that you don't bounce back and forth. And the definition of insanity is trying the same thing without changing the variables, right?
Yeah.
um, so being able to make that kind of adjustment on the fly is really big. Switching the lenses with which you're looking at the puzzle, communicating a lot of times, just having a brief moment of, hey, this is a really tricky part, but we're pushing through, goes a long way to changing the mood, and then you can see something new. Or even just taking a few seconds to look at the solution manual, right? The image is right there. You can just look at it for 5 seconds, reset your eyes, do a
Yeah.
quick little a little shimmy, just loosen up, and then attack it. But you can see, Eileen, their pair is closing in on the last 15 pieces or so. Now they have no
Now it's
ambiguity.
going
They're going
quick.
to accelerate into this. Yes, they can see the shape of each piece. They know where those little bits of color are at. They're going to fly through the rest of this. I'm so excited. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think there's about nine
Let's
pieces
go.
left.
Go, go, go,
Let's see
go.
how quickly they can do it. Can they? Are they going to be able to keep this under the 203 line? It's going to be. I think they're going to be just over it. Come on, you guys can do it. You're doing great. They just got to get those last ones in. Working around each other's hands. Get those last two in. There it is. They hit the timer. Congratulations.
Woo. Oh, and just in front of them, another team snuck in there, Inga and Katrina
Oh my
from
gosh! I didn't have Inga and
Lithuania.
Katrina on my screen. I'm so sorry. Congratulations.
Yeah, just like 15, 20 seconds before them, they finished. So, okay, so we have Eileen and Rosalind in seventh place and Inga and Katrina in sixth place. Congratulations.
Absolutely phenomenal, Inga and Katrina. That's I know that they made a huge comeback after getting through the plants the native plants puzzle. They made a huge comeback in order to catch up. That's really really impressive puzzling, and a strong pair in order to be able to push through and persevere through that. Congratulations.
Yeah, you know what me and my pair partner always do for piece jail? So when I'm looking at a piece and I don't know where it goes, instead of putting it back in the pile, I'll put it on her side so that she
Oh,
can
okay.
look at it, and vice versa. So we usually have like a pile on the side. We both work from the pile, and then by the time the pile is done, we each have a few pieces lying in front of us that the other one couldn't find, and then we try to put it in that way. So that might be a good way as well. Okay, Leonie and Ellie are on the verge of putting in also these last pieces. They have, I don't know how many pieces that are, like 15 pieces maybe left to put in there. So that should also go really, really fast. And
Oh
then we have
boy.
another few. Yeah, they're just about to finish. And then we have some other people that are working on the last puzzle, like Saskia's team, Stein and Jeanette,
Mhm.
Ulle. They all have started on the last puzzle as well. But Leonie and Ellie, they are coming here into the close and trying to place in these last pieces. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces left. Come on. Let's
You can
go.
do it. Just got to get those last ones in. This is where that late
Yes,
physicality comes in handy. They're doing
we
a
did.
great job. They got it in. Congratulations.
Congratulations. And also, just before that, Marius and Arcadius, you also put in the last pieces just around the same time as well. Congratulations.
We're going to start seeing so many finishers roll in at around the same time. So apologies ahead if we don't catch you right away. There's a lot of juggling going on, both behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, in order to try to see everything. But these are some fantastic pairs of puzzling to
Hmm.
get this done. To get this many pieces done in under 2 hours and 10 minutes is wild. And none of these puzzles are particularly or super straightforward. This cat's puzzle is a stumbling block for a lot of puzzlers because of the amount of fur in there. I think everybody's approaching this in a really really smart way of trying to get a lot of the white cat worked out, getting the outlines in so that way they can box in that black fur cat and work it out. I think there's a lot of smart puzzling happening, um,
Hmm.
and even then, to be puzzling this well and this fast after 2 hours and 7 minutes of puzzling is crazy. Um,
Yeah, so we have quite a few teams right now that are fighting for this last spot in the top 10. We have Saskia and her team who are closing in on the white cat and are almost finished with that and focusing on the black cat. Then we have Stein and Jeanette who are also working. Each of them is working on one of the cats. Stein is doing the white one, Jeanette is doing the black cat. Then we have a few other teams here. We have Moshka's team, who they have finished the white cat and are working on the last parts of the black cat. Then we have, who's this? Is it Maya? Um, yes, it's Maya and her team who are also working on this black cat. So now is really everyone's racing for the 10th spot. Mineke and oh, look at Mineke and Danique's approach to this puzzle. So Danique has been
oh
working
wow.
only on the black cat. She has it faced her way. Mineke has worked on the border, the white cat, and I'm just waiting for them to do to fuse both of them together.
Oh, yeah, that's gonna be a huge join to be able to be able to do it that way. Rotate that together. I wonder if they have the bottom of that puzzle already locked up, or are they going to be able to just slide them in together? This is really really cool. I'm excited for this rush into the end. We can see that Laura's pair, they have just that outline of the black cat remaining. Saskia's pair, similar situation. I think piece count wise, that's about even. Uh, Maya's pair, they are flying into the close. I think they have maybe about 20, 25 pieces remaining. And Moitra's pair are about even with that. This is going to come down to which of these pairs has a slightly higher physicality after 2 hours and 7 minutes of puzzling, and who is going to be able to keep that accuracy going as well.
Oh, there we go.
Catherine,
So Mineke is turning her
there's the
puzzle,
big
and
join.
yes, and then it's her sister Delia. I For some reason I said Danik, but it's Delia who is puzzling. Oh my god,
They
and it
slapped it
fits
right in.
perfectly.
Oh, that was so smooth. That was so smooth. That was great.
Now I'm curious to see how they move from here because they do have quite of a different, yeah, approach to other people, because now what they have to finish is this little corner there on the bottom, which has some like little white flowers on it, and oh no, that's also done. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh yeah, no,
So
they're going to fly through the end of this. They have no ambiguity here. There's
no,
just tiny little gaps, and they're going to be able to blaze through this, and they are excited. They're at this moment where you make this big move. You can smell the end in sight, and so that physicality picks up. The accuracy is there. I think they're going to be able to pull this off. You can see Moicha's pair, their pieces are on the opposite side of where that cat is, so they have to do a little bit of an extra transfer in order to get over there. They have a couple of little gaps. They're not quite at the zero ambiguity. I think piece count wise, Minika's team is a slightly ahead, but it's only by a couple of pieces. If Moicha's pair can get a handle on it, they might be able to catch up here. This is really, really close puzzling.
yeah, I mean, Delia is a really, really fast puzzler. She came like 10th in the world, I think, in 2023. And you know, Minika is also a fast puzzler. So together, it's in the genes, it's in the family. And you know, they're sisters, so they've been puzzling together a lot. And I think that's an advantage in pairs puzzling. You know, if you puzzle a lot together, you really get to know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and you get to puzzle really fast. And there they go. Now they only have like 5
Yeah,
pieces
there
to
it is.
go.
Now it's all sunk in. They hit the timer. Congratulations, Minika. That was an amazing finish.
Congrats. That is rounding out our top 10. But, you know, Maya's pair and Moshka's pair, they are like pretty even keels here going. They both have about like 10 pieces to go, 10, 15 pieces to go. So, you know, it's a tight race here around this time now. So we're at the 2 hours, 11 minutes and 40 seconds right now.
Well, you know, we were saying it earlier. The difference of a couple of minutes at this scale of puzzling, whenever you have 2,000 pieces working, is about the same as a couple of seconds on any 500 piece puzzle. So this is really, really tight. We can see Maya's pair coming in on the last 4 pieces or so. They get those last ones in. They hit the timer. Congratulations. That was a very, very well done. You should be really proud of yourselves.
Wow.
Moishka's pair coming in on the last 7 pieces or so. They have no ambiguity. They're going to pick it up and sink every piece in. You can see a little bit of pointing happening. It's difficult whenever those pieces are wherever the gaps are right on top of each other. They're going to get that last one in. They hit their timer.
Boom.
You got to hit the EJJ timer as well.
Yes.
Get that one in.
Yeah, they did. They did. They hit it.
Okay, good.
Congratulations. Yes, two Slovenian teams neck and neck here, only about 24 seconds apart from each other. So, and I'm assuming you'll also be taking part in the Slovenian championship. So let us know how you're stacking up there against each other if it's also that close. But it's so crazy to think that different pairs can be even finish this close to each other in a marathon with 4 different puzzles. It just shows you how good you have to be and how, you know, like consistent you have to be throughout all the 5 puzzles.
True that. Well,
Alrighty.
I know that Saskia's pair they're reaching that end state as well. We're gonna start having a lot of these pairs close out. I am amazed and impressed at the level of competition that we've had here. These are not straightforward puzzles, and everybody's doing a fantastic job.
Hmm.
But we do have our podium, so I wonder if we want to bring on some folks to have a quick chat.
Yeah, so Hannah and Caitlin, they've been waiting patiently for us to talk to them. And I don't want to have them waiting any longer because, as we've said many times, it's the middle of the night for them. So Hannah, Caitlin, and you know, if if the whole Stamp girls want to join, you're very
Hi, and
welcome.
Chloe, yeah.
Yes. So if you want, you can turn on your camera and your microphones.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hello there.
Hi.
Is it better to say good morning or good evening?
I guess good evening. We're gonna try to sleep now, I think.
Nice. Well, for people who don't know you, do you want to quickly introduce yourself? Like, who are the girls in STEMP? Why is that your name? How come you've all gathered to puzzle in the middle of the night?
Do you want it individually? I'm Caitlin.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Sky. I'm Chloe.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say girls in STEM. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, math, and puzzles. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, when we first got together as a team, we realized like after at our first meeting that we were all working in like science and engineering, and
Mhm.
so we had to come up with a team name for U.S. Nationals. That's kind of how we landed on it.
I assume part of the engineering is required in order to make the giant puzzle columns behind you. Is that correct?
They're not load bearing.
Okay, all right. That was what that's one of the things I was concerned about.
It's more of a person fit. Yeah.
Yeah, we were also doctoring the lighting before
Yeah.
the marathon in order to like get the lighting in this room to be just as good as in our normal puzzling room,
Yeah.
so that it was an even playing field.
Throwing the competition by giving them really bad conditions.
Sorry to interrupt real quick. Robert, your box is in the way again a little. Thank you. Thanks.
What you all how was it puzzling in the same room right next to each other with a big competition? Because I know you guys took slightly different paths on which puzzles you wanted to do. Like, was that intentional so it wasn't like adversarial the entire time, or was it just like what the pairs were doing?
On our end, yes.
We didn't really know until we'd started the first puzzle.
I could hear what they were discussing, and I thought maybe it's good we've deviated.
But it was really funny because we were talking back and forth during the first puzzle, and Caitlin's like, "I'm working on the sky," and I was like, "Well, Chloe's working on the sky," but then we realized we were on two different puzzles.
Two different skies, very different
I
skies.
like looked over and I'm like, "Huh, that's a cherry posy box."
But it was nice to hear, like when the puzzle's getting hard and you can hear that they're also having a hard time. You're like, everyone's having a hard time. So it keeps morale up even when it's challenging.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, this gravel's really hard." And then when Caitlin got to the gravel later on, she's like, "Yeah, this gravel's really hard."
Validating.
Like, yeah.
Oh gosh, I know. Some people were asking, did you end up staying up, or did you actually like take a nap
Yeah, we
before
stayed up.
before all this started?
Some of us napped in the afternoon, but then we stayed up from, I'm gonna say, 6 p.m. onwards, and we had a little slumber party. We did some very slow, casual puzzling. I decorated the cooking. we got boba to
just
caffeinate.
Basically just a coffee. Basically ordered coffee.
Nice.
I'm curious, the native plants puzzle, that was an unreleased puzzle. Nobody had gotten to see that one before. Did the being in science and engineering, did the emphasis on some of the technical plants help you at all in this puzzle?
I don't know if I paid attention to like the maybe the technical aspect of the puzzle, but the fact that they're from San Francisco, maybe subconsciously that was helping us. I
It was a motivator.
Kind of carry me through. I'm like, it's San Francisco plants, hometown advantage. Like, I don't know if I've seen it most of these, but I will say the word San Francisco, not the hard part, but I am very familiar with the spelling of San Francisco. That did make it fly, like, comparatively.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Well, walk us through a little bit the cats puzzle, because I know a lot of pairs are currently on this one or working on it.
Hannah and I struggled a lot.
We really celebrated every time we got a single piece in on the black cat. The rest of the puzzle was okay.
Yeah, the rest of the puzzle was really good, but then yeah, once we got to the black cat, it really slowed down at that point.
We were not the black cat, but we were the celebrating every piece. It was very stressful because we were like, "That's our future."
Yeah, I feel like Chloe really hates fur, so this was like a challenge.
Mentally.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when we got there, I was like, just think of it as a sky with clouds. Like,
That really helped.
yeah, it really helps.
Is it sort of like whenever a roommate gets sick and they're a little ahead of you on the cycle, and you know that like, oh no, I'm gonna start getting the runny nose.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
was it kind of like that? Okay.
Your
Yeah.
future looks bleak and you can't do anything about it. Yeah.
We're like, yeah, I think also on native plants, like we were working on it at the same time, but you guys were ahead. And so we were like, oh, I heard them be like, okay, we're shape sorting now. And we're like, oh,
That's really bad. Yeah.
Well, and
So-
it's difficult to try to shape sort, especially on the cherry posy, because it's all standards.
We were hearing about that.
yeah. We did, well, Caitlin lined them all up in rows. So
That
that,
helped.
I saw that and I'm like, hey,
It's
that's
cute.
one way to do it.
Yeah, I'm shape sorted, so I felt better.
Oh my God, Caroline and Phoebe just finished.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got them pinned on the other computer. Yay, San Francisco.
Go San Francisco.
Yeah,
So
congrats.
both of your teams were only like 3.5 minutes apart from each other. Is this usually how it goes when you pair up within your team, or do you like switch pairs sometimes? Like, what's your usual go-to?
No, we don't normally switch pairs. Sky and I started as pairs before we met them, so we're locked in.
Nice.
We do sometimes for fun, like,
Oh yeah,
but
actually,
it is like an adventure because
It's a
like we're
one-off.
so used to puzzling with each other, like with our normal pairs. So
Mhm.
it's like very different to be like in a pairs versus a team setting, I think. Though that the like knowing what each other likes from teams definitely helps. Like
I think as pairs, we also have strengths and weaknesses. And like that, when we work as a team, it's so great. So when we're doing when Hannah and I are doing a puzzle that we don't like, and Chloe and Sky like it, we're celebrating again. It's like
thank God. Yeah, for the team, we're
it
benefiting.
benefits the team that they like other things than what we like.
Mhm.
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, Caitlin, that's also something you talked a little bit about in your answer to the question. Do you want to maybe talk a little bit more about like what you can learn from your pairs puzzler? Like you talked about the energy level and like some other things.
Yeah, when I first met Hannah and we started puzzling together, she keeps up her energy throughout the whole puzzle, which I could feel I was not doing. And so having her moving faster than I was really like motivated me to move faster. And I can now like a year later feel that I move a lot faster through the puzzle. And then we also tried I tried sorting. I was sorting a lot more when we first started puzzling together, and pretty quickly we don't like the same things. I was sorting out sections for Hannah that she didn't want to do, and so it was quick to determine I shouldn't sort at all. I should just pull out piles for myself. And I've pulled that into my solo puzzling as well now. I used to sort more sections for myself, and now I just pull out what I need in the moment. And I also found that's made me faster individually and then faster as a pair as well.
Mhm. And the other pair, Sky and Chloe, because you just mentioned before that you've been puzzling together already before you teamed up as a team. Is there something you can say that you've learned from each other?
Where to start?
I mean, the first speed puzzle we ever did was actually pairs. We exclusively did pairs speed puzzling for like
A long time.
a long time.
Probably
Like
yeah. Probably almost a year. Like in a
Okay.
meaningful way.
yeah.
It was like anytime we were thinking about doing a speed puzzle, we'd just be like, oh, and we'll do it for pairs, so that's more fun. So we weren't
Mhm.
really even trying to do puzzles on our own very much, like maybe only for like an online competition or something. So it was like our only path of growth for a really long time. So it was actually really interesting puzzling like more independently over the last, I feel like 6 or so months, where we've been like doing that even when we might want to be doing a pairs puzzle, or like, like a strategic thing would be to puzzle maybe next to each other, but like solo. I think that's been really interesting to, yeah, like, because you kind of get to benefit from your partner being better at certain things. So like, I would just never do animals,
Yeah.
for instance.
Well, and I feel like we also have done so many pairs puzzles together that like sometimes we like under communicate because we just like mostly don't need to a lot of the time. We like know what each other is like thinking pretty well. And so when it goes wrong, it can go wrong like more than one would like.
Catastrophically,
Yeah.
perhaps.
So
So how did you find each other to do speed puzzling when you like started speed puzzling as a pair? Because that just seems like the reverse order of like how most people would find a pairs partner.
We were friends first. So yeah, we're roommates. We met in college doing a jigsaw puzzle. And then we didn't
Nice.
puzzle for a lot of years. And so Sky heard about the world competition. Was like, maybe we should try that. We're like, well, okay. So we ordered a puzzle and we did it. We were like, wow, that was really fun. We should do another.
Yeah, nice. That's really cool, like to hear different stories of like how people get into speed puzzling. I always think it's really fun. And Hannah and Caitlin, how did you match up?
Caitlin like reached out to me. Well, the three of you had like formed a team, and then Caitlin knew me like sort of through like an online community, and then that's how I joined the team. And so since Chloe and Sky are such like legacy pairs, it kind of made sense that me and Caitlin would be a pair. But it happened to work out like really well, I think, in terms of like what our styles are. Yeah, I've never paired with someone before where our styles are so complementary. Like we very rarely gravitate towards the same sections in a puzzle, which is awesome because I never have to worry that I'm stealing the best section because it's not what Hannah wants to do at all. For the most
Yeah,
part.
that's super nice.
Yeah. I don't want to like I don't want to switch pairs. I gotta keep doing all the fun parts. On the first try.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I'm glad you found each other as a team. I also love your team name. Is like perchance, and that would be like probably the craziest coincidence. Is each one of you one of the letters in STEM, or?
That's a great question. We've assigned ourselves letters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's who?
science,
I'm science.
technology, engineering, and I'm math is our like assigned letters. So we very occasionally pulled out like girls in temp or like things like that.
Yeah.
If we're doing just like 3-person, like
like a
puzzling.
trio pair. Like, well, we've lost our S.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Girls in STEM.
Or if you guys go get dinner, you add like a D somewhere, like breakfast. Like you just add the like. I
It's
get it.
really versatile. It works
Yeah.
so well.
Yeah. Girls in anywhere. Put us in a location.
It can be anything.
And where they should be, everywhere, all the time, right?
In all the academic fields.
100%. Oh man. Well, how does it feel to put up such ridiculously fast times in this huge field of really, really strong puzzlers, right? Like we had like there's so many people in here that are just amazing. Fist pump. All right, okay.
For me, it's so early in the morning right now. I don't know if my brain is processing. We're gonna have to rewatch the live stream tomorrow. Yeah, we want to listen to like the commentary. We don't. Did you talk to the artist for the custom puzzle? We wanted to hear about.
Yeah, we did.
We're looking forward to listening.
Ricardo's a cool dude. You're gonna like him.
Yeah, it was really interesting, and he's so passionate about what he does, and yeah, it was really a really nice interview, and to know like how much work he put into making each of these. This is just one of the posters that he has. He has a bunch of like posters with different flowers or also wildlife on them. So yeah, it's definitely worth a re-listen.
Maybe we'll take a field trip to the Cal Academy of Sciences.
Yeah, I mean, he invited Jim to come over and show him, so I'm pretty sure he'll be open to it.
Jim.
Better fly out.
I was telling him, don't threaten me with a good time because it'll happen. That would be a blast. No, it's you all should definitely like field trip down there. Hopefully at some point I'll get there too, but you're a little closer and easier to get in.
It's pretty close to us. I think we can make it.
Yeah, it's really cool. How do you were mentioning that it's like dark 30 in the morning, and you were like cheering on every piece that went in. How do you maintain any kind of positive morale when the sun isn't up yet?
I mean, honestly, having these two here was like such a big difference from like Chloe and I did a pairs marathon before.
Yeah, 2 times ago.
Yeah, and I feel like it was really nice to have like more people going. It had a very festive energy. And I think that like we were talking about in the last puzzle about how like even though it was like very late in the evening, like we weren't really feeling as exhausted as previously.
Yeah.
So
still didn't feel great, but it's so much better because yeah, the one other time that Sky and I did it at this hour, I remember falling asleep during the 4th puzzle. Like my eyes were shutting and I was going, I can't see the pieces. My like eyelids kept just closing. I'd have to like really force myself to stay awake. So I think having them here and also being like way more strategic about like,
puzzle ordering. Like I feel like we're thinking a lot about like
relative to how tired we're gonna be, what kind of like morale boost we're gonna need to like keep ourselves awake and like enthused. It's a really interesting strategic challenge, and like how to structure your entire day, because like you can't be waking up too early. It's like when are you sequencing your various caffeines? Like it's I mean, I feel like it's a production, which is really fun, but it's like it's no small feat to like be awake at this hour in a way where you could actually be like doing this, I think.
What's different about doing a mini marathon at a strange hour versus doing a like 12-hour marathon? Because I could be wrong. I think some of you have done some of the like SoCal marathons, right? Like what strategic differences are there between that kind of thing?
Yeah, we did a 12-hour marathon as just the 4 of us last year.
No breaks.
No breaks, yeah. I think this one, like, since it's shorter overall, you get the feeling that like you can push through, whereas the 12-hour one, I think we accepted that by the end we were gonna be like really dead compared to the beginning. So I don't know, I think maybe like this one, the adrenaline can manage to carry you through a little bit more.
And there's a sense that you can't like let up because it is faster. You have to like keep the speed as if it was doing 5 like solo
like
kind of sprints.
independent
Yeah.
puzzles. Yeah.
Do you all usually do like puzzles back to back to back, or is it like, hey, we did a puzzle, let's take like 10 minutes, half hour to just, reset? Like
Definitely we take breaks normally. Like if we're practicing for nationals and we know we're going to have to do 2 back-to-back 1,000-piece puzzles, we'll do that in practice. But for the most part, we take breaks between each puzzle, and it helps a lot. When we were like quote unquote practicing for the 12-hour marathon, we did 6 hours of straight puzzling to like see how that felt.
Just if we liked it.
See, and it was way harder. Like not taking those little mini breaks definitely affected our. It was the same amount of puzzling we would normally do when we get together and we do a whole day of puzzling, but we take breaks. We take like a big lunch break. We just chat.
Or like even a couple of weekends ago before nationals, like I feel like doing the back-to-backs like versus like doing the individual puzzles, even when it was like the 8th puzzle of the day or something like that, was really different.
Yeah,
like,
you can feel how much more tiring it is to have to do multiple 1,000-piece puzzles. So good to practice if you have to do it in competition, but I think if you don't have to do it, you don't need to do a marathon of any kind. you'll have better benefits from taking breaks between the puzzles.
Yeah. There's a lot of puzzlers that Mari and I have worked with where the thing that kind of happens over time is that it's harder to keep the energy going during the transition. And so it's like you just finished a slog. Okay, now flip super duper fast to get going on the next one, and it's really hard to get that energy going on that next one. What's how do you all treat those interstitial moments of like one puzzle to the next in order to really hit the next one hard?
Sky and I were kind of intentional about it, in that I think, knew that the cherry this one would be like not that slow. And we thought this one wouldn't be that bad, but that was wrong for us. But, like going off of this one, which is quite hard, to this one, it was like a breath of fresh air in a really good way. We were like, okay, we got through a slog and now we're going to sprint. And like the feeling of being able to assemble stuff really fast is like invigorating. And so I think that was one of the things we didn't do in the first Paris marathon that we did, where we were like, whoa, we just did a really hard one. I have to do another really hard one. And that like really took a toll emotionally. And so I think having the sort of like dispersion of the easy ones to give yourself like a win between hard ones was like really helpful.
But if you don't have a choice on the puzzle, like if you're doing like nationals competition
marathon,
or a full marathon, or like the puzzle was chosen for you, I think a lot of like positive self-talk is really helpful. Like saying I'm moving